either. This didn't work out this opening.
No, it's bad
I
opening.
mean, not for black. Worked out good for white.
Cerana's looking pretty happy.
Mm-hmm.
Smirnov against Josu. See, Joshua Shang defending this Rui Lopez endgame. That knight on a5 is pretty strong. I'm gonna say, have you ever seen a knight occupy more pieces than that?
That's right. It's making sure black can't move anything.
Yeah. I mean, he's taking care of you, right?
Yeah, I agree with that. I've watched basically throughout all day, and everything was exciting. It was great chess today. I mean, you get knocked out, you go home, or you continue on. So it's March Madness here at the Pro Chess League.
Wow. Cool. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So any surprises in who has made it this far and who has not today?
Yeah, I think the team from Slovenia, they were the underdog, but they won. They were the Turtles. Was it Ljubljana? How do you pronounce it? They were slow and steady.
Yeah,
so
I don't
they
know
won
exactly
the
how
race.
to pronounce it.
Yeah, also, I guess Minnesota winning is some kind of upset. I don't know what kind, but some kind.
This is not showing it. I got the wrong one.
Let's see.
Somehow.
What's this? Yeah, it says Ljubljana beat Stockholm 9-7.
Yeah. Wow. All right. Sorry, folks. I think I've got slightly not fully updated here, or do I?
It looks pretty updated. What's wrong with it?
All right. Cool.
I like it. Yeah, I got everything.
So
Yeah.
we got the blizzards here. Right.
Yeah. Wait, now it got even smaller.
Winners.
Wait, I'm too old for this. I need an adult.
And the archbishops. All right. Cool.
It's a good thing I have a thing for I need an adult. Otherwise, I'd be in trouble. There we go.
Yeah.
I have an emote for that.
You have an emote
I think
for that.
Armenia winning was expected. Mumbai Delhi was just like a coin toss. But
Right.
man, Mumbai has a pretty good board too, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
They got
Yeah, I do.
Man, they got Gujarat. That guy's like 2740 FIDE or something.
Yeah,
That's a good board too.
He's
Wow.
serious. He's
Ljubljana winning against Stockholm was an upset, I think.
He's the future.
I think people were surprised Minnesota beat Webster. So it's surprising. It's the playoffs. That's what happens.
Yeah, I actually got the whole Atlantic wrong. I predicted Pittsburgh
Terrible.
and the Windmills to win.
Mhm.
So to me, those are both upset results, I guess.
Well, two teams from St. Louis. One moves on, one doesn't. Truth hurts.
Yeah.
Wow.
Today, we've got in the Pacific, we've got some good matches coming up. I've got the pairings for them here. If you guys would like to see real quick what's coming up today, and you can see these high-rated lineups: 2497, 2488, 2495, and one lineup to beat them all, so to speak. 2540 from the Chengdu Pandas.
Man, that's a tough team.
Wow. Yeah. So the first match today is going to be Australia Kangaroos against San Diego Surfers. I think we expect a close match there. I think most people expect a close match there. Small rating advantage to the Kangaroos. But, Ben, who do you think has the slight advantage in this match?
Well, Australia's slightly higher rated, I think, due to their extremely high-rated board 4. But I got to go with San Diego because they're just so solid, and it seems like their IMs should all be GMs. So I like the San Diego team. They won the division in the regular season.
Yeah.
And also, if I'm correct, you'll correct me if I'm wrong. I've been wrong before. I think they have draw odds.
They do.
So,
they do.
Yeah, that's definitely a team that has draw odds. I'm always going to bet on them because then if they don't win, I can still win.
That's right. So here are some of the big names that you guys are going to see in this matchup tonight. We've got first board for San Diego, Alexei Cerana. He's been performing at like 2692 or so far this season. So another really strong season from him. Even outperforming his rating by a bit. And I would think that, although the Kangaroos have 2 GMs here, including a young one, and you always want to be scared of the young ones. Despite that, I think Drea's performance over the course of the whole season means that, he'd be a little bit of a favorite against even the GMs on the Kangaroos here.
Somebody in the chat said, I don't think Smirnov looks like that anymore.
No, he does. He's little. He's little. He's looking like that right now as he
he is little. It's true.
As he blitzes out his moves.
Last year. Yeah. He's little, but he's tough. There's some tough players over there.
Speaking of IMs who could be GMs, the other picture I have here for San Diego is of international master Joshua Shang. He's board 4 for them, and his performance rating is just over 2,500 on the season.
I played him about 4 years ago in Vegas, and I did not lose because I pulled out one of my old man tricks. I offered a draw.
Nice move.
And that was my only hope. And I was like, this guy's really good and he's not titled. And then very soon thereafter, everybody knows he's good.
So here he is, already in action today, starting off with white against Alexei Cerana, top board for the Kangaroos. Cerana trotting out his trusty Najdorf variation here.
As long as it's trusty.
It is. Yeah. It is. And Joshua's just sent his knight to A1 as far as I can tell. It's an unfortunate but often unavoidable thing in these Najdorfs. The knight gets sort of trapped on B3 and then ends up trapped on A1. What you gonna do? I guess he did it all for the pawn, right? I did it all for the pawn.
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah. No regrets. I've got your pawn. Yeah. You can always regret later if he loses the game, I guess.
Wow, knight A1.
Knight A1.
It's like a Dragendorf. I'm scared. It's very scary opening for everybody.
Yeah, this is a complicated position. Josh was playing quickly and confidently, over 14 minutes on his clock here. 18 moves into a complicated line, and Cerana finally giving it some thinking. This position is complicated as heck, Ben. I mean, even with hours on the clock, you would burn up your clock on this one.
Yeah, that's one thing I really like about the Pro Chess League, even more than some of these super GM tournaments, is everybody's playing for a win every round. There's very little early resigning because it's a team tournament. And because it's 15-minute, we see a lot of ups and downs. We see a lot of upsets. And it's really hard to tell that this is a board 1 versus board 4 matchup because it just looks like two guys playing chess and it's not clear who has the advantage or who the better player is because these matchups are tough.
Or who thinks they're the better player. Sometimes both players think they're the better player, and then you get some good fights because they're both feeling it.
And somehow they're both wrong. How do they do it?
And then they're both wrong. How is that?
Exactly. Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really sharp position, which I guess the young players like nowadays.
Yeah, strictly speaking, y'all in the chat are right. The Smirnov is a bit older than his picture, but not by much. I mean, I think this guy's 15 now, and that picture's from when he was about 14. So he's still sort of a kiddo, or you know, a teen prodigy instead of a child prodigy.
Exactly.
So moving the knight towards the king side, the new king side of Joshua. Leaving f6 open for the bishop. That sort of stands out to me. Cerana, I don't know, does he have some kind of serious threat? Because bishop f6 seems annoying.
No, I don't see anything immediate for black. And bishop f6 is annoying. I agree. It is
annoying. Okay.
Maybe with a bishop on f6, white can't attack on the f file with rook f1, so it blocks it up a little bit. I guess he wants to take the pawn on g4. That's why he played knight b6.
Right. It's not about attacking the queen side. It's about this thing.
Yeah, once I take on g4, then my bishop can go back to f5, and I can try to hammer you on c2, rook c8.
Get rid of the f file and introduce the c file.
Yeah, the knight's going to be on a1 for a very long time in that instance. Yeah. Defense. Very strange position. Both sides have majorities in front of their king.
So maybe it'll go bishop f6, rook to h7. Which would be better than rook to g8 because of queen h6, probably. But
that's absolutely correct.
Who knows? Let's just. Oh, he plays something else. Yeah. I was thinking bishop f6, rook h7, h3. You know, maybe just simple stop that bishop from getting in on things. But look what he's just played. He's attacked the other rook, rook to b8. Maybe he'll play bishop c6 and f6. That has a pleasing rhyme to it.
Yeah, bishop c6 surprises me because now we have to be careful about knight c4.
So he's introduced a threat for black instead of for himself. That's not usually the way you go about things.
Not usually.
I mean, he's already got to deal with this.
Play queen e2, defending c4, and defending his pawn on g4.
All right.
Good idea.
That's a very responsible and adult move by Joshua.
Man, these guys play fast in such a super complicated position. Wow.
Yeah.
any move can lose the game right away. So it's on pins and needles here.
Yeah. Whew. All right.
Joshua was super confident for a board 4, though.
That's intense. Let's see what else is going on. Let's see how this other board 4 is doing. Timur Kuibokarov, 2468.
That's a good board 4.
Pretty much the highest rated board 4 we've ever seen in action here. For those who want to know our brackets, my bracket just suffered a mighty defeat. It's done. My bracket's gone. Dreyev here playing the Slav defense. Looks like Kuibokarov traded on d5. But the move f4, I would say, suggests some aggressive intentions.
That seems like the right plan if you're able to do it, if you can get away with it. It's funny, many, many, many years ago, my current ex-wife, but my second wife, she asked me about a line in the Slav, and she was playing the Slav, and I was like, I don't know. So I went on the internet, and I asked Alexei Dreyev, who I didn't know, and I said, hey, in this line in the Slav, what's going on? And he sent me a very long, detailed answer. And that's the only interaction I've had with Dreyev. Was we didn't know each other, but he still sent me lots of analysis.
You've never even said like hi or thank you or
never.
What's up,
I said thank you when it was over. Yeah. And
okay.
I was like, oh, thanks. And then I told my wife, and she was like, all right. Yeah, and he even said this line's not played anymore because of this, and now they're playing this line. I was like, all right. So it's a pretty detailed answer. But yeah, I figured if it was the Slav, Dreyev would know. So I asked Dreyev because he knows the Slav.
Yeah, but that would be like if I had a question about the Najdorf, and I was just like, I'll just tweet at Gary Kasparov, like,
that's right.
Please,
and he'll say, let me ask MVL and I'll get back to you.
Ask MVL. He would never admit he needed to ask MVL. I cannot believe that.
No, when I lived in Belgium 30 years ago, one of my students who was 2200, he told me he used to get lessons with Geny Sasonko, and he said this was common. Like he would ask Sasonko a question, and Sasonko would pick up his phone, and he would call all over the world. And he would call whoever the world's leading authority was, then he'd tell the guy what he said.
Just find the answer.
I was like, all right, that's a good coach.
Yeah. So, I mean, you would think your board 4 up against Dreyev, who's had this monster performance, you'd be looking to maybe neutralize him, try and keep it dry or boring. That might be the reason for playing an exchange Slav. But I think with f4 on the table, this game is going to be more interesting.
Yeah, board 4s are tough nowadays. They win games too.
All right, so I'm going to pop over here and just check out another game.
Conversely, board 1 in the last match has lost all of his games. So, man, chess is hard.
Right. Yeah. I mean, we had the most incredible board 1, board 4 disparity in that last match. For those of you who missed it, for the Pittsburgh Pawn Grabbers, their board 1 scored 0 points, while their board 4 may have set a record for board 4s at the same time by scoring 3 out of 4 from board 4.
Solid.
Yeah, and he was playing against 3 GMs. Way above his head, hundreds
above
of points over him.
That's right.
So let's see how this thing's going here between Kura and Smirnov.
It was nice of the candidates players to take a break today so we could do the Pro Chess League. It was nice of them to do that. They're nice guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good. So we got Keaton over here.
Got some pre-moves. Yeah. Got the start of a drawish situation, I would almost say, with his opposite colored bishops here.
Let's see.
There's some danger for black on like rook c7, bishop e5, and then the g7 point. But seems
it's pretty dry.
Seems pretty holdable for black at this point. So the final surfer and the final kangaroo are Kanan Izat with white here against Michael Brown of the surfers. Michael Brown rated just about 2,500 FIDE as an IM, and he's performed just about 2,500 FIDE. So he's been a solid presence for them, but it's been the performances of the other 3 surfers that have really been like above their ratings and pushed up the strength of their squad. Those predicting a Kangaroos victory, which apparently is considered quite possible. I actually picked San Diego instead of the Kangaroos because so many of the San Diego players have outperformed their ratings for 20 30 games. At some point they're more likely to play like their performance rating in the pro league than like their FIDE rating.
Yeah, and I mean in the regular season San Diego was 1 in the division and Kangaroos were 4, So in a 1-4 matchup, you got to go with 1, especially since they have draw odds.
Right. Yeah, and people wondering why are they 1? Why are the Kangaroos 4? I mean, the reason is because, well, we've talked about Igrok overperforming. We've talked about Joshua Shang outperforming his rating so far by 130 points. Keaton Cura here, 2373. He's actually performed 2585 in the league so far, so 200 points above his rating.
That doesn't surprise me.
And you see him here with no trouble against Smirnov, right? Like, there's no way he's going to lose this game.
Right. And they just agreed to a draw. That was good timing, David.
Yeah. Yeah. So, you know, that's been like really like big for them. But getting back to Michael Brown, he's performed solidly, no problems, no weaknesses. Izot is the big question for the Kangaroos because this guy has only played 1 match for them so far this year. The other 3 guys in the lineup have been work. I guess, can you call a kangaroo a workhorse? Workaroos.
Ooh.
They've been workaroos
Wow.
for the Australian team.
They're having a workaroo. That's right.
But Kanan has only played 1 match, and he scored something like 1 point out of 4. So, I mean, it's too soon to pass judgment, but
he's got something to prove.
He's the one who's sort of like, if he can play really well, that's going to be good for the Kangaroos. And let's see how he's doing so far. I like his bishop. His pawn structure is pretty symmetrical.
Yeah, it seems pretty equal to me.
I'm going to give him an edge for that bishop, but I guess I'm wrong.
As long as somebody's wrong, we can't all be right.
Yeah.
No, I think the first round of the match is going to hinge on Shang and Cerana because that's a totally insane game.
Yeah.
It's a board 1 versus a board 4. So if Shang can get the upset, that's going to be really good for the surfers. I mean, when your board 1 loses to board 4 in the first round, that's a bad omen, as Shabalov can tell you.
I guess his queen e2 wasn't so bad as Serrana's just brought his knight straight back to d7. I guess he's like, the kid saw the g-pawn was hanging. I'll have to come up with something else.
That's right. No, other than the knight on a1, White's doing great. His bishops are better. His king looks a little safer. His rooks are better. The rook on h8's no good.
Yeah.
And White's up a pawn.
So what should our audience members prioritize if they were in Joshua Shang's shoes here? They've got 10 minutes against 6. That's a good start. But should they prioritize getting this rook onto the f-file for an attack or playing like the c pawn up to c3 and c4 and play knight c2? Which of these pieces should be improved first?
Well, I think actually, because Black played knight d7, and he has the possibility of attacking on the b file with something like queen b6, I think whether White wants to or not, he's going to have to move the c pawn so his queen defends b2. Since the bishop on h4 and the rooks can't defend it, I don't think he wants to play b3 and allow the bishop to go to a3 and block his knight in like that. So if I'm going to play c3 or c4 anyway, because I want to defend my b pawn, that's a good idea. And hopefully my opponent lets my knight get out, but that's going to seem tough to do also. So
Gotcha.
White has some issues here. I think after playing c3 or c4, c3 in my opinion, then the rook goes to f1 and we continue playing on the king side if possible. Not an easy position. And somehow Joshua has a nice time advantage, even though the position's all crazy.
Right. Yeah, he's been showing some serious confidence, this guy.
And to me, it just seems like Dreyev is a pawn down. He sacrificed or lost a pawn, but I mean, he's down a pawn.
Wow.
So it seems like his bishop is worse too.
So this started on move 15 for him, really, when Kuibakarov played a5, signaling a desire to win this pawn on b4. He's got the queen lined up with the bishop, and now a5 is out for black, so he isolates the pawn. And Dreyev doesn't come up with any way to defend it, I guess. He just gives it up, trade, queen a3. That wasn't even like a great bishop trade for him either that came with that pawn loss.
No, I agree. It just seems like everything's good for White so far. White even has more time.
Yeah.
Yeah, these board 4 versus board 1 matchups, I can't tell which board is which.
Yeah. I don't know if the board 1s are going to be enjoying this league after today. They might want some new rule instigated. Some kind of, draw odds for board 1s or something.
And what's funny is the most famous, the most talented, the most talked about board 1s, they're not even in the playoffs. They couldn't make it. And earlier today, somebody in the chat said, hey, when's Hikaru playing so I can watch that?
Yeah.
And I was thinking to myself, he'll be playing at the same time as Magnus and Mamedyarov. I didn't type that, but I was thinking it.
Yeah.
So
he's played his last match last week.
Right. That's league is tough. The most talented top players, their teams didn't make it. And so now we don't have the 2,800 players on board one, which means board ones could lose to anybody, as was proven earlier today.
Yeah. I guess MVL and Anand survived the first round of the playoffs today. Those are some of the biggest sort of individual talents and names.
Right. And I saw MVL, he drew with Gunina, and he was better the whole game, but she held. So it's tough being a board one.
Yeah.
But his team moved on.
Rack it up
Marseille
immediately.
Migraines have moved on.
Drea's position looks just flat out bad to me, Ben. I don't see what he's supposed to do.
I agree, and he doesn't either. That's why we've been sitting here for 3 minutes talking about how bad his position is, and he hasn't moved.
And how tough it is to be a board one.
Yeah, I think he just moved, but that doesn't really help his position. That knight on e5 is a monster.
No, it does not.
So it's just good for white.
All right, we got a little action here between Izzat and Michael Brown. So what happened is right after getting his bishop into d6, he played a4, putting pressure on this b5 point, trying to open up the queen side a little bit more. Because I think this bishop is temporary, right? But as long as it's here and taking away b8 and c7, the black rooks are a little awkward, and he's going to try and do something.
Yeah, Nakamura would say that bishop is temporary, but class is permanent.
He would.
That's what he would say.
He would.
I don't know. It seems like those bishops for black are pretty nice. Black has knight e4 coming.
Yeah, it seems likely to be his next move.
F2 is a lot weaker than f7.
But I wonder if there's any... Whoa, he just played it while my hand was on the e4 square. That was
good
nice.
Listening. Good job.
He played it right out from under me.
He heard us.
Yeah, I was just starting to wonder about weird tactics with like knight g5 because of b7. But knight takes d6 defends b7, luckily. And then, you can play queen d6. But after bishop g2, there's no immediate tactics going on. So knight e4 played by Mr. Brown. It doesn't look critical yet. I don't hear any fear or excitement in Ben's voice when he looks at this position yet.
No, I still think we're in the draw zone, but I think I'd rather have black's position. I like that bishop on a7. I like bishops on a7. That's just me.
Okay, so you even like black's position. Interesting. An interesting development also in our Najdorf here is that Joshua Shang grabbed another pawn.
Wow.
Yeah.
Let me see how that happened. Oh, he just took it.
He just took it. That's how he did it. When this knight retreated, it was also banning this guy. Josh was like, really? Thanks.
Wow, and the response to that was h5.
And the response is an attack on the king side, which is not a great sign.
Didn't see that coming. Wow.
But funnily enough, his answer is h3, defending the bishop on h4 with his rook indirectly. And keeping all this tension going. Queen a5. And now it's getting into tactics because queen c4. Now we've got, knight b6 to consider.
Queen c4 looks very suspicious.
Very suspicious, right? We got rook b4. He's got covered by queen c8. Knight b6. I think he intends queen c6, attacking the bishop on d6. But he's definitely arranged himself to like maximize the number of ways he could lose.
Yeah, that looks very dangerous.
Bishop to b3 would have been the obvious move. Is there any reason, Ben, why the obvious move wouldn't have been played here?
Bishop b3 was what I was thinking. And then, I mean, it could have been, it can't be afraid of rook takes b3 because knight takes b3 seems fine. So, yeah, I mean, bishop b3 is what I would have played.
Okay.
I'd be too afraid to play queen c4.
Well, on it goes. Cerana finally playing a quick move here, king g7. He's only got 3 minutes, but this move suggested itself. It defends the bishop, so now he's really threatening rook to b4. He may also be threatening knight b6 because queen c6 to d6 isn't check anymore. I don't know how Joshua intends to extricate himself from this queen c4 move.
Yeah, that's very strange. That's really not where you want the queen, where all of black's pieces can attack it. Bishop a6, rook b4, knight b6. Wow.
By the way, the Pandas are in the house.
They're in the house.
The next match has started. Pandas versus Destiny.
Okay.
We've got Yu Yang Yi. Let me just show everybody real quick who we're talking about today.
Yeah, who are we talking about?
For the Pandas, we've got Grandmaster Yu Yang Yi and Grandmaster Li Chiao. That's two 2,700 plus players who have 2,700 plus performances in the league. So they
have another GM also.
They have been as good as promised so far. If something doesn't work with this, with these two 2,740 or 2,750 players, they've got Zhu Wenjun hiding here behind Li Chiao. 2570 GM with a 2570 performance, so she's lived up to her rating as well. And the Destiny is going to be led by two grandmasters, Konrad Holt and Andrei Gorovets. And if I call up pairings for you guys again for a second, you can see that the Destiny are also using one of these lineups with pretty high rated boards 3 and 4. They've got 2468 FIDE IM on board 3, 2426 IM on board 4, so they're not giving up any points here, whereas the Pandas are paying for all their 2750s with Li Jiaoyang on board 4, who is probably expected to score 0-4 today.
That's easy for you to say.
She gets any draw, it'll be really good news for the Pandas. So this stuff's getting underway. Let's see if Drea's managed to confuse things at all with his H-pawn rush.
No, he played H5, H4, H3.
Came up with
something.
something
to do. Ginger GM commentating. What's going on here?
It looks a little bit random, but I guess he did what he did what he could find. Got his pawn to H3. Kui Bakarov's plan seems a little more obvious to me, which is B4, B5, and then pushing the A pawn.
Yep.
I'm not sure how H3 pawn fits in with anything else, but I guess Drea is planning to play G5 or something completely...
very Andreev-like.
Yeah.
But yeah, it seems very desperate. I mean, I'm starting to think that White should play like Ben Feingold and try to play Bishop F1. Okay, so Dreev must have heard me. He played Knight to D2.
Prophylaxis against Bishop F1. What on earth is the Knight doing on the square? I know. I found it. I found it, Ben.
Yeah.
He's going to sack another pawn on C4 just to open his bishop.
Open his bishop up, yeah.
What else is he doing?
Yeah, but I'm not going to take that knight, and then I'll just defend my
e-pawn. You'll just be like, whatever, sit on C4.
Yeah. Well, you got to do something. He's way behind on the clock. He's down a pawn.
Yeah.
Position's not very good.
Not
He's the
good.
board one against the board 4. It's desperate.
Not good at all. Where did the queens go in this Najdorf?
The queens are gone?
The queens are gone. Knight to B3 was played in this position here. Getting out of Knight B6 and Rook B4 for the moment, I guess. Trade here. Lose the pawn on G4. And now he trades off on D7. Well, he could have saved himself a tempo if that was his whole deal. Oh, but he thinks he's got a tactic here with Bishop F6. That's what's encouraged Joshua.
Now, this is why I like the Pro Chess League, because there's 7 passed pawns on move 30. That's the kind of chess I want to see.
7 passed pawns.
That's
Count them up.
I just tell it like it is. Now, as you know, David, I did a 12-hour stream on Saturday.
So I heard.
In one of my games, I achieved 7 rooks. I did it. And
that's a lot
I
of
checkmated
rooks.
for 7 rooks. Yeah.
7 rooks.
So we could see a lot more rooks here if possible. It's possible.
Is it hard not to checkmate with 7 rooks? I feel like at that point it's harder not to than it is to checkmate.
It's hard to get 7 rooks because before you get them, every move is stalemate. So you got to be really careful.
Okay.
You got to make sure you're not stalemating every move.
Yeah.
In the final position, I had 5 different checkmates in one, and I played one of them.
And you played in the final position.
Yeah, I played
the true final position was after you played one of them.
I didn't think that after I had 7 rooks that in the first round of the Pro Chess League I would see 7 passed pawns, but there you go.
So you did. So what do you think of Cerana's exchange sacrifice here? I guess with a bishop pair and 7 passed pawns, an exchange here or there doesn't mean much. It's just going to be about who calculates.
It's totally random.
Totally
All
random.
3 results will happen.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. This seems pretty random. I guess
anything can happen.
I guess if this were a tournament game between 2,800 players with 3 hours on the clock, White would probably have an edge. But
I'd bet on White then, but with
here
2
it's
minutes
irrelevant.
Each, then very suspicious. Yeah.
All right. Well, if it's all irrelevant and random, I would go Rook F1 check just to see which way the king goes. Maybe tie him to the F pawn, and if Bishop F5, then I would play Knight D4 and trade 1 piece.
Okay.
I would want to trade a knight for a bishop if I could here. I would so want to do that.
Yeah, I agree with that. He played rook e1, so the pawn can't move anymore.
Right. The other thing I want to do is I want my king to move, towards the center if it gets checked by bishop f4. So that's my other reason for playing rook f1 last move.
Right.
But okay, he plays the delayed rook f1.
Delayed rook f1, just like the delayed bishop takes d7. He's good at delaying.
Yeah.
And the delayed bishop f4 check. Wow.
He waits for the tactical moment to be just
So actually,
perfect.
if he had played rook f1 check, bishop f4, that would have transposed.
It would have transposed.
They just got an extra move each. Yeah, and he played king e1, like you said. Very nice.
Yeah.
You got everything right.
I mean, the king may or may not be able to help against a bishop pair and a rook, but if the king's on a1, it's definitely not going to help. Right. And you have to worry about the back rank. So just get out there and pray.
Wow, what a crazy position.
It is that.
Having a quick look at the other games from the first match.
King. Yeah, you're starting to look at the other match?
Yeah, no, I'm looking at this match still. It looks good for Michael Brown, and it looks good for Kukarov also.
Michael Brown's bishop's looking better and better.
Whenever he's got those bishops.
Whenever Izzat traded the bishop on g2, I predict that's going to be the moment that he regrets tomorrow.
That's not good. Yeah, you don't want to do that.
Because next what happens is at some point, if he wants to, he can trade on c5 and get his queen through e4. And there's no way around that. It's going to be bad eventually. As I say that, he avoids doing so. And instead picks up a queen. All right. I can see how he might prefer that to my attempt to take the e-pawn.
A queen is a queen.
A queen is a queen. Presumably he's looking at various options to avoid rook d8. F5 seems like one of them. So you might be interested in.
I probably want to play h5, h4, h3 because Dreyev's doing it. He played h6.
Just run the h-pawn because Dreyev's doing it.
He play h5, but okay.
So Dreyev's knight is sitting on c4, and as you predicted, Koibakarov is not interested in it. Dreyev's down to 30 seconds. We're going to get 3 simultaneous time scrambles here. This is going to be pretty messy.
Right, and I don't know what Dreyev does if white actually just takes the h-pawn. Bishop f1 takes h3. I mean,
yeah,
must do something. I just don't know what it is.
Yeah, the h-pawn's definitely vulnerable to that idea. But Koibakarov's playing it really cool. He's just like, put all my rooks on the c file. Like at some point, aren't you going to be worried?
Yeah, the bishop on a8's terrible. Just never take the knight on c4.
Just never take the knight. Yep. He's kind of intimating that he might take it by doubling rooks on the c file, but maybe he just wants to be prepared if this knight ever moves that black will lose to the c file, and he's not really going to take it.
15 seconds left. You're right. Everybody has less than a minute. That's crazy.
Oh, black just won over here. Sorry, Shang and Cerana. It looks like a rook got hung or something. Hang on, let's just see this.
Yeah, let's go back here. What's going on?
Okay. So
yeah, unfortunately, his king maneuver.
He just moved his rook a couple times. King got trapped.
Wow, he lost all of his rooks. Man. Yeah, the two bishops were too good.
Jeez, lost that rook and that rook.
Wow.
Yeah,
he kept playing rook f1, rook e1. He kept doing it.
That was somewhat random. Michael Brown's down to 10 seconds as he tries to keep his king out of a mating net here. With opposite-colored bishops, you got to be really worried that something could go wrong. So 9 seconds showing that he is pretty worried, as we said. Rook check, king here, knight f8, gets out through f5. That's good. He needed that flight square. Wow. He needed that flight square. 18 seconds.
And in the Dreyev game, they both have no time also.
Yeah. Wow. So the Kangaroos have a 1-point lead right now, 1.5, 2.5.
Dreyev has tremendous counterplay. Unbelievable. He's got his pieces are all attacking everything.
3 seconds, queen e2. So he could go knight f6 takes e4 to avoid mate, but then he's definitely not in great shape. What's he going to go for?
Is this perpetual? Because king f5 hangs mate.
At worst, it's perpetual, but
wow,
it looks like it's checkmate.
It's checkmate. He's gonna take. He's gonna. Yeah, he won. His 3 pieces.
The question mark has answered himself with an exclamation mark, and the Kangaroos have won the first round, 2.5 to 1/2. If Igor goes down, this is going to be the grimmest start.
Now Dreyev's winning. Wow, Dreyev was completely lost. Now he's winning.
Wait, why does Dreyev have an extra rook?
That's
that makes
right.
No sense.
He got tremendous counterplay. As soon as Kubakarov had no time, he started blundering because they got down to the same amount of time, even though Dreyev had a lot less time. But then when he caught up, wow, they needed that too because Dreyev was losing that game.
That was the only game that we thought that the Surfers would lose.
He needed that game. They would have lost 3.5 half if he lost that game.
Jeez. Okay, so the Surfers stay in the match, but that's a huge first round for the Kangaroos.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say, Death Adder winning this game against Michael Brown from what was kind of going badly for him. Very resourceful mating attack without the queen. That really turned the tide there. All right.
On to the next match.
On to the next one.
Versus Dallas.
Pandas and stuff. We got Li Chiao versus Harman Vlade in a pretty cool position.
That's a crazy position.
All right. So Li Chiao wants to checkmate you on h2, but, IMs can see mate in 1. So Faladi defends that, and Li Chiao still has to prove that he's 2750. So what's the plan from here?
Man, I'd be really scared if I was white. I just don't know what I'm scared of. I'm just really scared.
Yeah.
Wow, Li Chiao just took on. They're playing so fast.
He had to. Rook e1 is coming out. I don't mean he had to play fast. He had to move his queen. Taking e2 made some sense.
So now material's equal, but e6 is looking weak.
E6
now it looks like white is taking over the initiative.
If he plays e5, then queen h3 might be super effective anyway. So his problem is not just queen e6, but the weak light squares around his king are really beckoning here.
Yeah, what do I do here? I don't want to play rook e8. But I got to do something. Can I play rook f6 or queen f6? I don't want to do that either.
You got 12 minutes. You could call a friend.
Wow, queen e5. Didn't even think of that. Okay, he's threatening mate.
Good idea.
And then trading. Knight takes e6. Makes sense to me.
Yeah. I thought of queen e5. I just didn't even notice that I could do it. I thought of it. I was like, no.
Right. Now, can I play rook f2?
Yeah, I think you got to. That's got to be the plan.
We're in the draw zone there. White's a pawn up, but black's super active.
Yep.
Maybe I'd rather have black. My bishop's good. My rook is good. Your 2-to-1's meaningless. Your pawns on the queen side are weak. Maybe after rook f2, I want to have black.
I considered the same thing with the bishop and knight traded. And after rook f2, rook c1, I figured that black did not have enough because there's still the a pawn. And
yeah. Here, if rook f2, I guess king g1 is good. Yeah, I guess I can't play rook f2. Gotta be careful. All my pieces are hanging.
Man, not what we wanted. Well, he's definitely got to move the rook. That's got to go. So rook to f6, I guess, by process.
Rook f6 was my second choice since it doesn't hang everything. It's probably better than rook f2.
Rook f5 is potentially playable as well, so I guess you could think for a little bit. Rook f5 avoids forks because your rook and bishop will always be on different color squares then. Yeah.
Yeah, knights are tricky in quick play. Oh, it's funny. Hess has my back. He says rook f2 walks into king g1, although then they could play rook f5.
Right. So rook f2
I'm not sure I want to force white's king to g1. That seems safer.
The idea would be that if he plays knight c5, you have bishop d4 check. So that would be sort of like the knight would be sort of trapped for a moment. I mean, white has ways to deal with that, but
man, Hess is working all day in the Pro Chess League. Then when he's relaxing, he watches the Pro Chess League. Sounds like me.
That sounds exactly like you.
Yeah.
Brothers, twins.
You can't tell the difference unless you have a scorecard. That's right.
All right. I'm pulling up another game here. Just see how Conrad Holt is doing against Li Jiaoyang. And I would say Li Jiaoyang has a solid position for a board 4, but it depends whether or not this pawn is hanging.
Yeah, let's have a look.
She just played d5, so hopefully she counted before she played it. Hopefully she counted, and Conrad has not taken it. I guess he could always take it later.
Man, Ginger GM's missing a great
here.
round. H5, H4.
H5, H4 every game. And it even worked a miracle for Dreyev.
For Dreyev, yeah.
Total miracle. So
there's a lot of weak pawns in this position. D5, A5, F5.
Yeah. I've got an idea. Rook to D1, rook to D8, and then you take on C6.
Are you sacking a rook and you want to take on B7?
It doesn't work because after rook takes rook, rook takes rook, instead of rook takes D2, black could play queen E1 check, and then queen takes D2, leaving the rook defending the back rank. Then on CB7, there's queen to B4.
Yeah, also, after queen E1 check, black has an attack against white's king. Queen takes D2, knight G4, scared. Wow.
Yeah. Yep. Anyway, it was inspired by the tactic. You probably remember this, that Yu Yangyi used this tactic to win a pawn a couple weeks ago. So I wondered about it. You know, he probably showed that game to Li Jiaoyang at some point.
Exactly.
But yeah, I'm not sure why the pawn is on D5 here, honestly.
Well, D4 wasn't the greatest square ever. I think she wants to trade that D pawn for either the F pawn or the A pawn by attacking him with her queen and hoping to confuse black.
So maybe a move like queen C3 here, which defends the rook, attacks the A pawn.
Yeah, those would be good pawns to trade for white, and white could get in the draw zone, I think.
If you lose the D pawn, you take the A pawn. If the A pawn's defended, you trade on C6. Anything wrong with queen C3 here? Rook D1 was played.
And she just played rook D1. I guess she can play a next move after rook D8.
Yeah. Not threatening C6 even because of the rook trade and queen E1. But rook D8 anyway is a pretty good move for Holt. All right, so again, queen C3 becomes sort of the major question here.
Could also play queen C2, defending my rook, and maybe I want to take on F5.
Okay.
Not sure if I want to take on A5 or F5. Unclear.
Yeah.
So queen C2 or queen C3, I don't know. But it seems like white should be okay here.
Both tempting. Should be about equal so far.
Yeah.
Yu Yangyi's not got anything special going against Dallas's board
four
nothing either.
Against the board four, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, this
Kitas Stromavicius is
That's easy for you to say.
Can we just call him Stromavicious?
Hey, on my Chess.com board, his name is just his name. It's not all that nonsense that he
It's not
is.
the squiggles from last time, huh?
Yeah, it's not all that, whatever all that other stuff was.
You know you've made it to the big times when Chess.com changes its code just to display your name correctly.
Right.
Just for you.
Just for you.
And
when you say just for you mean just for you's opponent.
I mean just for you's opponent. Yeah.
That's what you meant.
It's double speak, you know.
There you go.
I'm from the U.S. where
giving me the double talk here.
The Department of Attack is called the Department of Defense and so forth. So Yu Yangyi didn't achieve anything early on. Lots of pieces traded. Does he preserve any winning chances because of the outside majority in this kind of a simplified position?
Well, I don't know what's going on here because if he takes on C4, I play queen D7.
Do you now?
So I'm confused.
That does things.
Okay, that happened.
Played
Rook
quickly.
A8. Wow.
Rook A8.
Wow.
He's got to defend his stuff. He's like,
So
it may not look good to bend, but I got to defend.
He just plays queen C8? It's that easy?
And on queen B7, queen C8.
Well, I guess that's going to happen. Okay, but I play rook D7 and I'm better, right?
I imagine so. I can't move. I can't move my queenside majority. I can't move my king. I can't move my rook.
Move your rook. Yeah, rook D7 and white's better. Yeah. Man, board fours are tough nowadays.
That sounds problematic. That's kind of like a lot of stuff not to be able to move.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to have to probably sack a pawn and try to draw 4 versus 3. And then he will, because he's Yu Yangyi. I think he'll have to play like H5, G6, move his rook away, give up his A pawn, trade the B pawn for the A pawn, and then draw 4 versus 3. That's probably not what he was hoping for when the game started. That he was going to try to draw a worse endgame.
Let's see, Conrad. Queen C3 was played by Li Jiaoyang. So Jiaoyang, I guess, he's valuing the A5 pawn here. Faladi Wizard's down to 1 minute. Let's see if Li Chao's doing anything critical to him. Simplified material. everybody hanging tough this first round. It's like all end games. Let's see this GM versus GM match that I haven't pulled up just yet. Oh, it looks like it may have finished before I got to it. Ju Wen-jun's game. Did you catch Ju Wen-jun's game?
No, in fact, I don't see it. So you're right.
So
as
that
per
one
usual.
must have ended before we even realized
So this
it.
says Dallas is up 1-0 on the scoreboard.
Okay.
So
that means Ju Wen-jun must have lost to Gorovets, Andre Gorovets.
That's what it must have meant
for Dallas. Wow.
Yep.
So we got our 3 end games because we didn't even look where the action was.
Man, Yu Yang-yi plays like I said. That's not good. Yu Yang-yi doesn't want to play like me. That's not, Well, he didn't give up his A-pawn yet.
You think he could just offer a draw? I mean, based on the fact that he's Yu Yang-yi?
He can, then his opponent will decline based on the rook on B7 against the rook on A8.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how you drew Joshua Shang, you said, right? Was like at
that's
some
right,
point
but
you can like offer a draw when you're...
This guy's pretty high rated. Yeah. I mean, it should be a draw, especially with the 7 minutes to 130 and the higher rating and the fact that it probably is a draw. Seems like draws pretty likely. Speaking of likely draws, Luke Harman Vlade against Li Chiao, the board has been vacuumed.
There's not much there.
There's a lot of vacuuming going on here.
Yeah. I would say there's still a tiny swindle chance left.
Very, very tiny.
Sort of trying to trap that knight on B1, tiny. But it's not happening.
No, honestly, he's got Vishwa nothing.
Honestly, the only person who's even really threatening to score for the Pandas is their board 4, Li Jiaoyang, who we sort of like wrote off as like likely 0 out of 4 against this level of opposition from the Dallas team. This Queen C3 move has put Conrad in the tank. He's been thinking it over.
Yeah, she has more time now. That's right.
Yeah, and yeah, it's up on time and the position's equal. So that's the best they've got at this point. Anybody want to?
So Ju Wen-jun lost the first round. Li Chiao's game looks really drawn. Yu Yang-yi's fighting for a draw, which he will achieve. And Holton, Zhao Yang, I mean, how do you pronounce it? I say Zhao Yang, but that's wrong.
Li Jiaoyang.
Zhao Yang?
Something like that.
Yeah, she's...
I guess.
Wow, Conrad's just not moving.
Conrad's just not moving. What is wrong, Conrad?
He's thinking. It's not good for your health.
I mean, does he hate pawn trades so much?
Not on a 15-minute game.
Not a pawn trade.
Yeah, Yu Yang-yi made this look really easy. He just traded all the pawns. Yeah, he's drawing very easily.
Oh, right. He went for F5. Yeah. That was cool. Just trade all that.
The other game is super drawn. Yeah, so we got draw, and then, yeah, if Conrad Holt can beat the board 4, which he probably expected to do before the round.
Well, he's just moved, Dallas, so that's a good start.
Yeah, then Dallas will win 3-1. That's amazing.
He moved a piece and let the Chess.com interface hit his clock for him, so that was a really good start.
Very nice, yeah. He was trying to figure out which way to capture. He decided to get the pass T pawn.
Wow. Well, not a good start for the Pandas so far this round. I mean, neither Li Chiao nor Yu Yang-yi looked at all overwhelming. And that was against the lowest of the Dallas players. I mean, they haven't even faced their GMs yet.
Li Chiao's still pressing, and he has some chance because
of the seconds here.
Because Luke Harman Vlade has 11 seconds. So
right.
Whenever somebody has 11 seconds, that's not good.
His A-pawn's in some danger. There's always some chance if your opponent's flagging, right? Like,
I mean, 9 seconds to 7 minutes and change. It's like Nakamura's playing black.
Oof. That feels dangerous. All right.
Yeah.
Dodged that one. Didn't get back rank. Made it at least. That's something. Knight somewhere with a check. King here. All right, go back to the second rank. Keep that white king trapped because that is bad.
It's hard to believe white can draw this because he's worse and has no time on his clock.
It is getting hard to believe.
It's so easy to blunder here.
Yeah. Just a move like rook g2 is perfect. Just let him come up with something he can move that doesn't lose everything for him.
And he stopped 95.
All right, he found it. Good job, Luke. Good job. All right, now you got to move the knight. Nice. Smart. Good stuff.
But now he's in Zugzwang, right?
No, he's still got the rook.
He played rook f3. Okay.
Oh, Luke is all over this. He is not confused.
Man, I'm confused. 7 seconds.
This move he doesn't like. This moment he doesn't like.
Yeah, because he's
going to give check in the end. No, he holds off on the check. That is incredible discipline. A man of incredible discipline.
Yeah, he wants to get that knight c5 check in if he can.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, I thought just he had no winning chances, but now it seems more likely he'll win than not. Just because of the time situation.
Yeah.
Very hard to hold this forever.
Hard to say.
Conrad hold down to a minute. Although Luke Harman Vlade down to 6 seconds. So that's even worse.
Yeah. We're going to stick with Luke's defense here for the moment, I think, with the seconds here.
I mean, if somehow Li Chiao wins the knight for his pawn and gets this rook and bishop, even if it's a drawn position with Luke having 6 seconds left, it's hard to believe he can draw, especially where his king is.
Yeah.
It's very difficult defense, which he's doing great so far.
He's doing incredibly.
Defending perfectly.
Yeah. Absolutely fabulous. I don't know where else Li Chao's going to plan to break through, but maybe he just wants to sort of vary things up, move around a few more times. Mm-hmm. I mean, the stress on Luke is tremendous here, right? So even though he's played like perfectly for so long, something could go wrong. Ooh, king c4, rook c5 would have been a nice thing for him.
That would have been a funny check
if that's what went wrong. And now he's cut off the black king from the whole construction here. Mm-hmm. This is incredible. This is incredible. What? Oh man, I don't think he's going to lose anymore. I think he knows what to do. Mm-hmm. His play is just too perfect.
Black's position has definitely gotten worse.
Cannot lose like this. Man, I wish I could find split-second moves like Luke.
6 seconds left. Rook e2 is what I was thinking. Is that a good sign? I guess so.
I don't know. That bishop is pretty restricted.
I mean, this is obviously a draw now with correct play, but
he's considering d3 maybe, but then rook e3, king e1, knight d3 check. Yeah, king takes e3. Can he play d3 here?
What if I take with the knight?
Then the idea is rook c3 check.
Then king d4.
Rook c2, king
e3,
bishop d4, king d4.
Yeah. That I can draw. Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose.
I mean, I don't know if I would draw, but I can draw. Yeah, this seems pretty drawn.
Pretty drawn. All right. Well, let's just click over for a second, see how Conrad's doing. I mean, he's got 19 seconds for some reason.
Well, he played d3. Now it's a dead draw.
What's going on? He's got...
Now it's over.
It's over? All right, let's see.
Well, Li Chiao just gave all his winning chances away. He played d3, losing his pawn.
All right.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
He's given that.
Okay, and then Yu Yang Yi did hold the draw against Strum-vicious. Yeah, it was vicious. Yeah, he drew pretty easily.
Super. So Conrad has got his knight to c3, pawn on d4. He looks strong in the center. The bishop still hasn't found any targets. Here comes Black's b pawn. I mean White's b pawn. I guess we've seen Conrad like survive, you know, play with 10 seconds before without any problems. So no reason to think this isn't gonna... Wait, what's this pawn sacrifice? What is up with this pawn sacrifice? Well, you traded on e4. You got to take this. What? You can't regret it now.
I think it's regretting because queen h3 and rook h6. The truth hurts.
Oh, no.
Wow, rook h6 and rook c1. I'm coming at you from all angles.
Yeah.
Wow, that's 3-1 for Dallas.
Little quick to take that.
3-1.
7,
yeah, the white king is in
5,
trouble.
4.
See that h5, h4, it all worked out.
Some kind of queen move in the middle of the board, but nothing can save this king anymore.
No, now it's checkmate. Yep. Never play f3. It hangs mate in 2. Never play it. So Dallas won 3-1, although, I mean, Luke's game isn't over, but wait, what happened? He lost his knight.
He lost his knight, and it looks like his
rook and knight against rook and bishop.
Basically back
he hung his knight? Oh, my.
This is a dangerous looking position with 6 seconds.
He played rook d1. hanging his knight on move 102.
Yeah.
He just hung his knight.
I mean, I think it's pretty common that if you play 101 good moves, you can't keep it up after that point.
Yeah, I think with the time on the clock, he's not going to draw rook and bishop versus rook.
No, there's a threat of bishop
Also,
c5 here, so he's got to go rook h6.
Wow, and he won. That, I mean, they needed that too. Chengdu was gonna lose 3-1.
They needed that badly, but they can't feel too good about that. I mean,
116 moves, he squeezed him. Rook and bishop against rook and knight with no pawns. Wow.
Maybe the meaning of my bracket will be the opposite of what happens with every single match.
Okay, but Dallas still won the match, but they could have won with a bigger score.
All right, I'm pulling up the next match. I got Death Adder back in action. Black against Dreyev. He scores here. That's it for the surfers. Let's see what else we got. Keaton against Cerana. Keaton, the big overperformer for San Diego so far this season. 25-85 performance.
Yeah, but this position doesn't look very good.
This position's not performing at his level.
And time situation's not good either. This didn't work out this opening.
No, it's bad opening.
I mean, not for black. Worked out good for white.
Cerana's looking pretty happy. Smirnov against Josu. See, Joshua Shang defending this Rui Lopez endgame. That knight on a5 is pretty strong. I'm gonna say, have you ever seen a knight occupy more pieces than that?
That's right. It's making sure black can't move anything.
Yeah. I mean, he's taking care of 2 rooks and a pawn right now.
That's a pretty awesome knight.
Yeah. Suggests a likely win for white.
Question is, if black does nothing, how does white do something?
I think one option would be d5, check, pawn takes, and then push the c pawn, kind of like it's a King's Indian defense structure.
That'll do something. It seems like you're indicating black should play knight e7 here.
Maybe
we have to stop your plan. Actually, after knight e7, I'm accidentally defending my c pawn.
Right.
So then maybe I can play b6. Maybe.
So you might be able to move something again at some point.
It was an accident, but it was my favorite mistake.
Yeah. I was thinking the same.
Yeah.
All right. Instead, he gives up the center with e takes d4. Feels unlikely to save his situation or solve his case. I think Smirnov's got a nice advantage.
I may be crazy like Fox News.
Yeah.
But something funny just happened. Yeah. Okay. Somebody in the chat is agreeing with me. I was looking at how many viewers we had for like 15 minutes, and it was around 900.
Yeah.
And now it's around 5,800.
Okay.
And I was like,
thing,
wait,
right?
I must be on something. But somebody else pointed that out too.
We must have an influx of new people here to see the action. So for those of you who are new,
that's right.
Welcome to the playoffs of the Professional Chess League, where all the best players in the world compete on teams with all of the not quite best players in the world.
And we have the best commentators. That's the best part.
And the best commentators.
Yeah.
We're playing rapid chess here. We're playing 15-minute games. And the excitement is pretty much nonstop. Everybody plays everybody on the other team. We get 4 rounds in. We're here in round 2.
Correct.
Just kicking off between the Surfers and the Kangaroos. We got teams from around the world.
We have an American team playing a team from Australia, and an American team playing a team from China, and we don't know what's going to happen in any of the matches. Nope. It's very competitive.
Yeah. So here, Kuibakarov, top-rated board 4 around, he is in some kind of weird, crazy mess with pieces hanging for both sides. He's just played d4, attacking this knight. In response, white plays a3. So somebody's going to die in a moment. It's just... they're not sure who.
D4, A3.
If pawn takes C3 attacking another piece, then A takes B4 hits the queen. No time to take on D2. And after queen B4, maybe he has to play queen C3 so as not to lose his C pawn? Because like bishop C3, queen C5, that doesn't appeal to me so much. I'm down a pawn, I can't move my bishop.
Am I old enough to play rook takes D2?
Queen C3, rook D2.
I'm doing it in my head, so I'm very suspicious.
Tactics, yeah.
Very suspicious.
No, but it seems like you probably can.
Yeah, sometimes I'm right, but it's rare.
The
I'm
idea
right
is
once a
after all
stream.
these trades, you grab this
Yeah.
piece and black's off to the races in this endgame with 2 pieces against a rook. So what is white planning after pawn takes knight, pawn takes pawn, queen takes b4, not to mention, you know, knight takes b4, but queen takes b4. What's he planning? What's Michael Brown got in mind here? Maybe that's why Kuibakarov has stopped to think so long. He's like sniffing a possible error from Brown.
Yeah, and I teach this to my students all the time, and they furrow their brow in a vain attempt to understand the situation. They think, you know, when you're playing chess, you just play the same speed. And I'm like, when top players are in their prep, they move really fast. And when they don't know what to do, they think forever. And if there's no tactics, they move pretty quickly. But if the tactics will determine who wins the game in one move, then all of a sudden you see like a 3 or 4 minute think because all the pieces are hanging. And so you can't afford to make a mistake here.
No, you got to get this right. And moreover, this is underappreciated by a lot of players, but a lot of like amateur players. But like the most common kind of tactic to calculate in chess is these strings of capture, 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 capture. And I think a lot of like tactics books and like things like that and puzzles online and so forth focus on checkmates. You know, like basic checkmating patterns and stuff like that. But like it's far more common to have some pieces hanging than to have a checkmate available. So
and he played a move we didn't look at all. Bishop takes c3, confusing the commentators. He shouldn't do
takes
that.
With the bishop
they
instead.
Shouldn't confuse us like that. And there's still like a million captures.
He
here.
takes
C3,
with the bishop.
C5,
So now
F3.
white wants to take back here with his pawn pretty much, because if he took with his bishop, then after pawn takes, he's down a piece. So that one's pretty simple. He had to take back with the pawn. And Kuibakarov, he thought for so long he should have a follow-up. That's my feeling.
I mean, there's so many captures here. There's 4 captures he can make. He can even throw in D3.
Yeah, but the way I always used to try and play, Ben, is if I spend 3 minutes looking at bishop takes c3.
No, of course. After recapture, you can't like sit there for another 3 minutes.
After they recapture with their pawn, which is the only move I could have been looking at, I have to have already planned whether I'm playing d3 or pawn takes e3 or whatever, you know? Let's look at d3 for a second. d3, bishop takes f3, pawn takes f3, queen c5, you know, with a threat of like queen d5, but also, you know, it's equal. No, he's down a pawn in this line.
Yeah, he'd be down a pawn there.
It's down on the pawn. So he's got to have something here. He's got some chances on the king, some chances on the bishops. If the material were equal, I'd like black, but...
But he could take on f3 first, David, because then if you play gf, I don't have to play d3. I could play queen takes c5, for example, and your c pawn's pinned. Take with a bishop, then I could play d3, and that pawn's pretty reasonable. That's not a bad pawn. So he's probably looking at that too. But you're right, David. It's amazing to play bishop takes c3, and after the only possible move by white, then have another 3 minute think.
Yeah, this is...
Yeah. He's just not sure what to do. It's so complicated.
Yeah. But, I mean, you got to, in those cases where you don't know what to do, you just have to have the discipline to think it through before playing bishop takes c3. Because in the position before you play bishop takes c3, your opponent's like wondering, like, is he going to take on with the pawn, with the bishop? Is he going to play bishop c5, bishop a3, pawn e3, right? Like, so your opponent's just kind of overwhelmed with all the things you might do, so they're just probably taking a break and resting.
It's amazing. He played d3, David.
Once you take on c3, we know.
And white played the only move, bishop d3, and once again, black goes into the tank. Again.
Yeah.
Wow.
This just shows like a total lack of discipline and confidence in this particular situation. Maybe some pressure getting to him about this whole playoff situation. Because normally I would expect any IM to have the discipline to sort of know when he has to think and when he has to just see it through and hold his moves.
Having said all of that, black's position is not that bad.
Not that bad, huh? So there's a threat of
queen pawn structure, nice pieces, solid, safe king.
So Michael quickly plays bishop e2, gets out of any queen to the d-file tactics, defends f3 in advance, which was his other hanging piece. He's just cleaning up his bad tactics here. So if you look at this position, white has like 4 bad tactical elements in the position. Possible checks on the g-file, the bishops that are barely defended on the d-file, and the f-pawn that's hanging. So with bishop e2, he just quickly cleans up 2 bad tactical elements. He's going to avoid losing to some immediate tactic, and then he's going to try and, you know, make some other improvements to his position. King h1, rook g1, that kind of stuff is desirable.
Yeah, anything can happen here, especially since both players are getting pretty low on time. Now, the only person who's doing well on the board and on the clock clearly is Dreyev. He won the first match somehow. I was shocked. I thought he was getting crushed and he had less time.
Yeah.
And now it seems like he's just rolling over his opponent. He has the better center. His pieces are better. Black's bishop is no good on h6. He has a lot more time on the clock.
And he's ready to open up.
This is looking bad for Black.
He's ready to open up a front on the king side here with h4. He's saying, I got room to move my pieces. Let's open up some nice place to attack. And first thought, Black king, weaknesses on g5. So this rook c3 move. Yeah,
he wants to play bishop d3 because I was complaining about how bad his bishop was.
Right. It's like, I'll show you how bad my bishop is, Ben.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like you wish you never insulted this guy.
Is Dreyev going to follow the Feingold rule and play bishop f1? Nobody knows.
But your other Feingold rule is to always sack and exchange when possible, which would look like pawn takes g5. Well, I'll show people the simpler move first. Bishop f1 stops bishop d3, trades a piece, and even though you're trading a bad bishop, you're leaving them having to defend b7.
That b7 pawn's pretty weak.
So something to be said for it. But Black will trade and play b6 and probably not lose immediately. So the other option that Ben always likes is to sack and exchange. So you take on
g5. Yeah,
they play bishop d3.
Play queen b7. Exactly.
You play queen b7.
Yeah.
They take on b1. And now here, you probably want to, well, there's a few different options. You can play knight b1, queen b1, rook b1, even pawn takes h6 you could look at. But knight b1 attacks the rook, still has h6 attacks, so probably we're going to see rook b3 from Black in that case.
Yeah, and a7's hanging.
And now you could take on a7, or you could play queen c7 if you really want to take on h6. But maybe there's no big deal to take on h6, so you get the passed a pawn. And
the tactics are so complicated, as we said before, David. This is why Dreyev's having a big think now.
Yeah, it looks like
he just played rook c1. Simple.
It looks like the position would have to be okay for him.
Yeah, he played simple move rook c1, getting his rook off of this diagonal.
Simple move rook c1. He didn't follow any of your rules, Ben.
d3 because the b7 pawn's hanging.
He said, "To heck with your rules, Ben. I do what I wanna. I'm a big kid."
He said that too. I couldn't believe it.
He is the only big kid on the surfers. They got three youngsters, and he's the statesman of the team. But rook c1, he plays a simple move.
He's a Coen Brothers fan, a simple man. Well, 5 minutes to 1. Wait, bishop d3. Wait a minute.
Anyway.
Isn't b7 hanging?
b7 is hanging.
Wow. I don't know about that move. That a7's hanging. Yeah. And there's no exchange.
Is it a blunder, Ben?
I don't like that move.
The
position's not good for Black anyway, but he's hanging his queen side. The queen side's important.
Yep. Took it.
Yeah, Dreyev played that pretty quickly. He was like,
the queen side.
Yeah.
It's like, I'll take half your queen side.
Man, Dreyev did what we said, but he didn't give his rook away.
Could take the other half next time. Yeah. Oh, that was the cost. Look at that. Some weakening of the white king over on this side here.
Yeah, with the black knight and rook the way they are, I don't think he's worried about it.
You're not too worried about it. You got also rook c8 to simplify.
Yeah.
Which is not bad, but he plays something even more vicious.
Queen c7's annoying because if your rook moves away, you might lose your knight. I got rook c6 and d5 and e6. Yeah.
Well, it seems like you do have to move your rook, right? There's no real option to allow queen takes rook with check. So the rook has to move, and now the question is, can he win this knight by deflecting the queen? So now the tactics are pawn d5, rook c6.
No, it doesn't look good for Black.
Yeah. Well, Dreyev's got 4 minutes. He's got to calculate a kill now. See if anything else is hot while he calculates. We got Cura still suffering against
Michael Brown's king is going for a walk, David.
Michael Brown walking.
His king is going for a walk. He couldn't play king h1 last move because of knight g3 check winning his queen. So he has to go for a walk.
He couldn't go to where?
h1.
h1 because the queen.
Knight g3 and queen takes c2.
Yep.
So he has to go for a walk.
Out he comes. That's not going well.
That looks pretty. This looks pretty risky. Yeah. So yeah, the Kangaroos are fighting.
Wow.
They're hopping mad.
They are. Joshua Shang still getting tortured. I think
the Kangaroos look good on every board except for
losing.
Just Drea's the only board.
Drea's the only bright spot. He's pretty bright. I mean,
look good.
Kind of winning here. Cura got rid of that pawn on b5, which is huge. But if he drops the pawn at f7, he might be exposed to a mating attack.
Yeah, there's a lot of white pieces near the black king.
Yeah,
he's got rook f7, knight f7, knight e6. He's trying to figure out what to do here.
Yeah,
rook f7 looks pretty obvious.
4 fascinating games here, man. Oh man. Yeah, a lot of people would not expect a mating attack here, but white's got enough. The h pawn is the 4th piece.
That's a lot. That's a lot of attack. That's right.
The h pawn is the 4th piece in this kind of a kingside attack here. Is there any way to defend f7? Because I don't see it. Guess not.
So he played rook a5.
Yeah. Well, this seems all but over. Rook f7.
Yeah.
Collecting everything. Going to take his toll of f pawns and then set up a mating net.
Yeah, clearly winning. And Dreyev decided to trade everything and put his rook on the 7th and just take the 7th rank, take all those pawns.
Okay.
And black's pieces are the knight on d7, the bishop on g7. They're just useless.
Oh, so instead of winning the knight, he just plays the simplest queen here, attacking the queen, still on the knight, trade.
Yeah, black's pieces just can't move. And he's losing all his pawns, too.
That's nice. I mean, he gave up some of his advantage, and then he just cashes in here with his rook. There's still some mess, you know. If Dreyev were black, you might
well, I don't know, man. Knight f6 check is annoying. I don't know.
Yeah.
Now, rook takes e6 is annoying. Very annoying.
Rook takes e6, yeah.
It's pretty annoying.
That leaves everybody sad.
Yeah, and Dreyev has tons of time, and Izat has 20 seconds.
By the way, a draw was taken here. Black Kuibokarov didn't find better than to just repeat back and forth with Michael Brown. So I would say,
always
with your king on h3, that's kind of a victory. That's
yeah,
that's one or two bullets dodged. All right, Igruk. He took the pawn you wanted on the 6th rank. He's coming in. He's got knight f6, rook h6, rook c6. That's it. This is when the clock ticks down. You just fall on your own clock. Boom.
And Smirnov looks like he's beating Joshua Shang.
See how Smirnov's doing. Yeah, this was the game.
Smirnov is doing great.
Oh, man, that center. I mean, look how many center pawns he has. I love that.
Michael Brown really escaped that game because he was probably losing, and Australia was really building up a big lead, and they needed that. And they needed Dreyev to win the first game, too.
Yeah, but it looks like they still could pick up 2 points here. The match is only temporarily tied, but I think Australia is continuing to increase their lead here. Joshua's going to need something super creative to stay in this game. That's not going to do it.
No, Joshua's position's not good.
But, I mean, there's probably nothing.
Too many pawns down. No.
Man, that massive pawns. Man, that knight. Man, the f6 pawn's hanging too now.
Yeah, knight takes f6.
And then these pieces are sort of like lost because the rook's defending this knight.
That's the end of the game, yeah.
Oh, man. If I were white, I wouldn't want the resignation. That's where you want to decline the resignation. Let me push my pawns a little bit more. Knight somewhere. Sure.
Now it's checkmate. I have rook c1 and knight d5.
Well, now I can't enjoy the game anymore because I don't have 4 center pawns.
It's going to be checkmate. Knight d5 and then mate. Then rook a1 mate.
Okay.
You found it.
I can live with that.
Mate.
All right.
Nice. Good finish.
I can live with that.
Wow.
Well done. Well done, Smirnov. All right. Pushing his team.
And I mean, Keaton's escaped to this lost rook ending, but it's the best position I've seen him have in a long time. But it's pretty lost.
Yeah.
But, you know,
I'm on it.
I think it's better than it was.
Oh, that is way better. How on earth did he get
it's not good.
Not lost.
No, it's not a good position.
Get such a bad but not as bad position. Wow.
That's
he just
right.
Gives up those. Still seems like it's going to be a loss here.
No, for sure. Yeah, rook f5 and h5. He's up 2 pawns.
So
should be relatively easy. So assuming Cerana wins, what does this mean? They're up 5-3.
Yeah, and so far the only surfer who's showed up is Dreyev.
Yeah, Dreyev
I mean, he had to get
2-0.
into a lost position against board 4 before he decided to make his entrance. But
that's right. Dreyev's always been their rock. Yeah.
Since then, he's turned it around, scored 2 out of 2. What is happening here? Does Cerana mean to let this happen?
He's very confident the king of Pandas winning after king takes h5.
Are you confident?
No.
Okay.
He's very confident, but I'm not.
No.
I mean, it might be winning. I'm just not very confident.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
F5. There you go. Genius move. F4 check. That'll win.
Yep.
Eh.
All right, now I'm confident.
Now you're confident.
Yeah.
Serrano's got this now.
Yeah, F5 was a little too early, but maybe he's...
Yeah. Need F4 first, I think. Nope, nope. No way.
Yeah, it looks like it's losing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's losing anyway.
I think he tried F5 because he felt that it was losing anyway, kind of instinct.
Yeah.
You know, and Grandmaster Sevion, who's a surfer in the chat, is saying that it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Innings lost anyway, so.
Yeah, I believe Sam.
Man, all the surfers who aren't playing today are in the chat room here watching.
Yeah.
That's some good team spirit.
All right, so we got the
I got my money on these losers for the moment. I mean, they're only temporarily losers.
They're not losers.
They won all season long, but right now they lost this round. 2.5, 1.5.
Yep.
So,
wait a minute, I have to adjust my headset and look all pretty because we have 7,000 viewers. Okay.
All right.
Now I'm pretty.
Beautiful. Beautiful,
okay.
man.
So now we got the Chengdu match with Dallas.
Now we got
Dallas
Chengdu.
Is up 2.5, 1.5.
All right, let's call up the Pandas. Call out the
Chengdu's
Destiny.
lucky to have so many points. So
all right, keep our eyes on Ju Wenjun so she doesn't disappear before we even get to
That's right.
the game.
They tricked us last time. Don't
tricked
do
us
that.
last time. Let's see how it's going here. Ju Wenjun playing the Benoni.
There you go. Against Conrad Holtz. He likes to mix it up. Yeah.
What is his rook doing on G2? This is not how you normally beat the Benoni.
Dave, you got to fianchetto your rook. For the new people who are watching, teach them what a fianchetto is.
A fianchetto is when you put your bishop on the long diagonal.
You got to fianchetto all of your pieces.
Black's got this bishop on G7. That's fianchetto. The bishop on A8 presumably came from B7. Was fianchettoed as well. Bishop on F3. We got a lot of fianchettos here, but the rook does not particularly benefit from being on a long diagonal. It's more about files for that guy.
Yeah, rook G2 was a very strange idea.
Yeah.
To say the least.
Yeah, so what's going on?
Encouraging Black to sacrifice a pawn.
It looks like Ju just sacked this pawn with B5, you know, sort of like last thing that's just happened. She sacked it. So what? What's the point? Why is she so excited? Knight back to C3. If knight back... What?
Knight E4, the most complicated move ever.
Well done. Before we look at that, let's just see what her plan was. If knight back to C3, I think she was thinking rook B8, and white doesn't have rook B1 because their rook's on the stupid fianchetto square. Yep. You forgot he was a rook. You got to know what you are. You got to know yourself. So knight E4.
I mean, Conrad really likes that diagonal, David. He's filling up the diagonal, the H1A diagonal. He loves it.
He's putting everybody on there. All aboard. Well, this was pretty cool. If queen B5, knight D6.
Yeah, take on E8 and play E4 and push those pawns.
Queen to B8. Lucky she even has a square to defend that piece.
That's right.
Now, would you think knight takes E8? I'm thinking knight F7 check.
And then queen G6 winning.
G8,
oh, I agree.
G6.
I agree.
Now the threats are really significant here.
Wow, knight E4 was a move Black didn't expect, I guess, with the knight being hanging.
Okay, that would be GG,
really
everybody.
strong.
There's no defense to that bishop, as demonstrated by queen E5, F takes E5. I'm just being pedantic.
I agree, shallow and pedantic. I agree.
Alternatively, rook takes E4 to be able to take on B5 without knight D6. That'll introduce Conrad's queen as well through queen takes E4.
Yeah.
Queen takes B5.
Well, queen E8 check just wins the bishop if I don't mate you.
Queen E8 check.
I don't even have to mate you, David. Queen takes A8 wins.
And you're going to play queen takes A8, not queen F7.
Well, I might mate you, but if I can't mate you, I'll just take your bishop and win.
Right.
So this is Black having a big think, saying, oh, no, I missed knight E4.
I mean, the funny thing is, it's sort of like the mirror image of the other variation. Queen takes A8 is like winning on material, but I think queen F7 would win even better after knight F8, bishop E4.
Ju knows what she's doing. She followed the Ben Feingold rule.
She had a way.
Always play bishop F8.
She had a way. She unfianchetted the bishop, defended
Always
D6.
play bishop F8. That's
and
right.
she's looking at this knight on B5 again, but You know, one thing Conrad could do now is he could play knight from e4 to c3. I don't know if that's his plan, but he could keep that knight on b5 for the moment, kind of stop black's counterplay on the b file.
He played queen c3 check.
All right, instead, he says hello. I think he's winning this game. I can't imagine that he's not winning this game.
Wow.
I'm glad we clicked to it quickly because
already giving the game to Conrad.
Yeah, it may not last all that long. I mean, look how many things he's got. He's got d6 under fire. He's up a pawn.
No, knight e4 was a great move. That's
pawn
right.
Pawn f5. This knight e4 move just kicked her plans to the curb.
Exactly.
Well
said.
Wow, look at the speed here on Li Chiao. By the way, he's got over 11 minutes against 2 minutes something.
I was just watching. Yeah.
For Strema Vicious. Looks like material's equal, so it's all just mind games.
Now, if I remember correctly,
just
and I don't,
pressure.
I think Li Chiao played for the Chess Bros last year, and I think he was winning every game. He was winning at least 4-0 every match, at least.
Yep. Sometimes
5-1 some matches.
Sometimes 5-1.
Yeah, some matches.
At least 4 every time.
Well,
but I don't think he has any. I don't think he has any advantage here. I don't understand why Strema Vicious thinks he's under such pressure. But
no, but this is the Nakamura method, which works out really well.
Yeah.
Have a 6, 7, 8 minute time advantage, and your opponent just falls apart with no time.
Yeah.
This is playing super fast in this time control. I first learned this in 1988 when I lived in Belgium. Vishianon stayed with me for a week. He needed some visas, and he played in a Game 30 tournament.
Yeah.
And he moved instantly every move. So every game finished, he had 25 minutes left.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? How do you do that? And then if he had 24 minutes and his opponent had 1 minute, I knew who was going to win.
Yeah.
And this strategy works out well if you can do it. If you can play really good, really fast, and your opponent plays a normal speed, at the end of the game, whether it's equal, you're better, you're worse, you're just going to have this monster time advantage.
Right. So clicking around to some of the other games, there's some action here. Let's see. Li Jiaoyang here as black against Gorovets. Gorovets was the
we
big
haven't seen Gorovets yet. That's right.
Winner in the first round. So Gorovets has just rammed this f pawn forward here.
Gorovets is looking good too.
Material's about equal, but he gets the pawn up to f5. Yeah. Trades
huge
pieces,
time advantage
trades on
too.
g6.
2 bishops.
He's got the 9 versus 2.
Yeah, as soon as Gorovets got the GM title, which was very recent, he loved the 2 bishops.
You know, it looks like the d6 pawn is dead too in this variation, so he's also going to be up a pawn in a second. He will officially be ahead on material.
No, it looks great for white. Yeah.
So that's brutal. The knight takes to have some kind of maybe counter on h4 in the queen f6, bishop f6, bishop d6 variation, knight h4. And if white throws in bishop takes g6, the pawn on h4, I guess, is still hanging, and then there's rook e2. So maybe my extra pawn announcement was just a little bit early. But the position sure sucks for Li anyway.
But okay, this was the strategy of Chengdu, was hope that she doesn't lose every game and have those monster top 3 boards.
Yeah. So how are the monsters doing? Here's Yu Yang Yi in action against Luke Harman Vlade, who almost played that incredible defensive draw against that
was terrible.
Li Chiao last game.
That. Well, so far Luke's doing well. His position's maybe slightly worse because white has the 2 bishops.
Yep.
But actually Luke has more time on his clock,
he's got the time
would have helped
he
him in the
needs.
first game. Yeah.
The key in this position is keeping the long diagonal closed against this fianchettoed bishop on b2. You don't want to let that guy loose. That's when things go from sort of like theoretically white's preference to you start seeing tactics and really bad stuff.
But David, that's not fair. Like, fianchettoing your rook, okay. Fianchettoing your bishop, that's just not nice. That could lead to a disaster for your opponent.
Yeah. Yep. That's the idea. That's how most people play chess. They want disasters for their opponents. And
Zhu Wenjun's position got much worse when she unfianchetted her bishop.
Yeah.
Bishop f8, giving up that diagonal.
Yeah. But Conrad's still looking for the follow-up. You know, he's defended his pieces. He's held his ground. But Zhu Wenjun's untangling this bishop towards a6. Still with ideas of rook b8. So Conrad still has to justify the rook on g2 here. I mean, he's got his extra pawn, and he's feeling like a genius with that knight e4 move. But, you know, chess is tough. Like, even if you play a good game, sometimes other professional players are not going to just give it to you. Like, they're not going to just sit there and be like, bravo, bravo, well done. You got me, mate. Congratulations.
Well, maybe the Australia team would say that. You got me, mate.
You got me, mate.
Maybe. Yeah. You never know.
In Australia, when you checkmate someone, do you say, like, that's mate, mate? And does that get confusing?
Well, you do say that if you have a stutter. Otherwise, it's unclear.
Because we need to interview some kangaroos at some point and ask them the answer to that question. That's what I'd like to know. Man, and Yu Yang Yi must have heard us because he played F4, trying to open that diagonal up. That seems like the right plan. Yeah, it was pretty sure that he was going to do that. Seize the time advantage also. Now, I'm interested in Li Chao's game because as a Trigorin player, I always want to see 2 knights against 2 bishops. Mm-hmm. It's and pretty rare. Have it. It's pretty rare. We had it. We had it last round, and it ended in that perpetual check, right? That's sort of like Trigorin. Now, I don't want to alarm anybody, but if you look at the clocks, I'm pretty sure Hikaru's playing white. Yes, Tremavicious. 9:41 versus 17 seconds. Wow. Yeah. I mean, now the thing is, Li Chao does that too. You know, it's a Hikaru thing, but this is not like a surprise from Li Chao either. To just put time pressure on his opponents. You know, like this guy's playing too slow. Yeah. How do you have 9:41 left on move 50? Yeah. How? That's just moving instantly every move. That's amazing. Yeah. But he's defending, and he's defending well. Black's still solid. Yeah, he hasn't. Still hanging on, although with 12 seconds. Hasn't dropped anything yet. Yeah, but 12 seconds. Wow. He is on the worst end of the whole thing, though. But I like that bishop maneuver to a7, Ben. That no, I like that a lot. That made things harder for white. Mm-hmm. It's amazing with how does Li Chao keep moving so fast, Ben? He's still. I'm just saying, he still moves instantly, incredibly. He has nothing to think about even here. He keeps the pressure on. Wow. I would have a hard time sorting this out with the black bishops covering all those diagonals. My good friend Aviv Friedman would say he didn't get his 2746 rating in a lottery. There's a reason why he's that high rated. No. Yeah, for sure. Wow, 3 seconds. Yeah. Wow, instant decision to take on e5. He's got it now with the h-pawn, right? That's it. I think so. I think he can play. Can he play b5, take the bishop, play f6 and g5? Or just g5? Yeah, he can also just play g5. I mean, it's... No, but he's going to play b5 check, and then he's going to play g5. Yeah, he's just going to queen. Yeah. Yeah. See, I mean, with or without b5, he's queening. This bishop can't stop the h-pawn. Now there's a forced win. Now there's a forced win, so now he's thinking. Now he's like, I have a forced win. Now I can use 9 minutes to calculate it to make the sure everything wins immediately. Yeah. I play 50 moves of blitz chess, and then I calculate an endgame study. Yeah, he played takes and b5, the simplest. Yeah, very simple. And the other guy just... Yep, and just queens, and he can't take the knight. Well, he took it anyway. Yeah. Unfortunately, the calculation was so simple that he figured it all out in 20 seconds, not in like 2 minutes. And he wins on time, but it didn't matter. Wow. That's incredible that you can play that fast and play so good. I know. I can play that fast, but not so good. Don't put the engine on my moves. Yeah. That's incredible. Wow. All right. I'm back here on Yu Yang Yi. Luke Harman Faladi did exactly what I was thinking would happen with this whole dark squared diagonal thing. The point is when white plays f4, one option for black is you say, like, even if you attack e5 a million times, I will not play e4 and give up the diagonal. What I'm going to do is I'm going to eventually let you take on e5, and then when you do, I'll leave your pawn on e5 blocking the diagonal. And that's what Luke did. He played knight e4, trades that piece, and gives up the e-pawn and just keeps playing there. That's textbook. Yeah, but I don't like his position, though. Well, the question is, does rook a6 win? Here, and then you want to play e6? You're such a mean guy. I'm a mean guy. It threatens checkmate. How can that not win? And the knight. Well, rook b2. Yeah. And then pawn takes knight, rook to b8. Right. And then queen e5. And then queen e5. And that's sort of what I need to calculate. So. And then queen b6 is forced. Got to cover queen d8. So something like queen b6, sure. And then... Yes, that's what he's calculating now. Yeah. Then I don't see the win for white. So I don't know if that's clear. I don't know if that's totally clear. Yu Yang Yi's having to think. I mean, it's funny. I wonder if white can play bishop a1, threatening rook a6. Bishop a1 threatening bishop a6. I mean, the thing is, the bishop's coming to c4 next move if he doesn't do anything too impactful. I don't know if you get away with that because my rook is coming to get you, but maybe it's not coming to get you. That's what he wants to do. As long as the bishop on b2 is blocked, one rook's not going to end his party. Yeah. So I guess he's got questions like bishop a3, bishop a1.
Yeah.
Oh wait, Conrad's broken through.
Yeah.
Hang on, let's see this.
Wow.
In the last position we saw, he just sacked on d6 first, knight takes d6, then rook takes g6. Oh my goodness.
Sacked everything.
Why didn't he? Oh yeah, he couldn't sack the rook first because the knight was blocking his queen. So he just sacks the piece, then the rook. So at this point, technically he's down a rook and a piece for a million pawns, but he gets back the piece on d6.
Just a rook. Yeah.
Now he's got 5 pawns against a rook, so he's not even down anything. He's just,
that's right. 5 pawns for a rook and a raging attack. Wow.
Good solution. Good solution. That was worth the 5 minutes he put into it, you know? That's some good chess. Love to see that.
Yeah, Conrad doesn't play boring chess, and neither does Zhu Wenjun. Yeah, the Pro Chess League is just awesome. You get to see games like this. Both players have a minute on their clock. It's a good thing I'm not playing. I couldn't take it. But this looks good for White.
Yeah, Gorovets converted his game.
Did win. Yeah.
So there's 2 games left in this round. So
and the game ended in checkmate.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gorovets checkmated. So what does this mean for the score?
Well, the Destiny's still on a 2-point lead so far.
Yeah, Dallas is up 4.5, 2.5, or 3.5, 2.5. And Australia's up by 2 points.
Yeah.
So wait, all that stuff happened that you said? All that stuff happened we talked about. Rook takes, e6, in the Luke Harman Vlade game.
Oh, everything we said?
Everything happened, and Yu Yang played queen takes e4.
Right, he just takes a pawn.
Yeah, this reminds me of the game Karpov versus Topalov from Linares when I think it was 94. Karpov sacrificed an exchange and took all of his pawns and his queen and bishop. The final position was like queen, bishop, and 4 pawns versus queen and rook.
Yeah.
This is getting close because he's going to take more pawns.
This G pawn.
Yeah, and this opens up his bishop taking the e pawn. So this seems really good for White. Black has to defend with no time on his clock. But maybe he can do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, Yu Yang thought a long time and made this decision.
Conrad's got 30 seconds here. He can obviously keep giving checks as he's done so far, but
yeah, but he wants to win. Conrad always wants to win.
But can he win this one? And if he wants to win it, what's the way? Can he introduce this bishop, or should he introduce the H pawn?
I have a silly question. I know that I'm going to be wrong.
Sure.
Why can't I play knight takes G7 and D6?
Oh, just trade on B7 and D6.
But he could have done that like 10 moves. Why can't he do it now? What's happening? Knight takes D7, D6.
It's a good question. Seems winning.
He's not doing it, so maybe there's something I'm missing, but I don't know what it is. I can't do it now. I pinned my knight.
Yeah.
Well, he's got 9 seconds left, so he might take a perpetual.
Yeah.
Because he keeps having his knight pinned by putting his queen on the 6th rank.
Yeah.
It's hard to play knight takes B7 because the bishop is so silly, your knight's so good.
Yeah, it's
I just want to play D6.
He could claim a draw here. That's definitely the 3rd repetition.
Draw was claimed, yeah.
All right, I'm going to confirm what you said, but I think you're right.
Doesn't knight takes B7, D6
We
win?
can use the final position to check this. Knight takes B7. All right, so queen takes D6, hitting this, hitting that. Yeah, GG, right? He had it. I think he just had it.
Knight takes B7 just wins, yeah.
Okay.
It's a hard move to look at because you're not looking over there. You're trying to make the guy's king.
All right, so Yu Yang technically he's acting exchange, but he's still playing without this bishop. He took on G6. Queen to B6. What a tactic. Yes. Boom. Hello. Queen F8, and then, okay, I was just being fancy. Brings out the bishop. One would imagine that he's winning here. He gets time to bring his bishop to F5 and defend that pawn, and with the bishop out, then he's got bishop, 3 pawns, and attack against the king. It's exactly like
he
you
only
said.
has 15 seconds left. That's surprising.
Yeah, well, he invested a ton of time before he played that sack on rook takes a6, right?
Right. This is
like we talked about that every now and then a strong player will think about something important really far. Because it's hard to see. I mean, you know, any master can see they've got this option to go into that position, but to see whether or not these maneuvers are going to work out for them and they'll be able to keep their material is less clear.
Yu Yangyi needs to win this game for Chengdu, then it'll be 4-4.
Great decision by Vlade to trade queens on this queen
G3 move. Yeah. Drawing chances
that gives
now.
him some real drawing chances here.
So many passed pawns.
Yeah.
It's scary. 10 seconds for Yu Yangyi, but he's got a lot of passed pawns.
Right. I mean, Vlade's looking at rook b4 to c4. He wants him some counterplay. He wants him some counterplay.
So Australia's up 5-3 against San Diego, and it looks like this match is going to be 4-4. It looks like it.
Well, yeah, who knows at this stage. Centralizing the king. Wow, active.
Well, the problem is the king's not on e7, so the black rook can't really go anywhere.
Black rook can't do much like that.
No,
I don't
so
know
now
if
going
this,
to play g5 and so forth.
I don't know if this king activation was right, but nobody knows with 9 seconds each.
And finally, Yu Yangyi has more time.
Gives a check, has to come back.
comes
G5.
G5,
Here comes the G pawn. Those are some
3
easy moves
passed
for
pawns
you.
for White.
Yu's feeling it. Now he's going to move his king to b5. Leave the pawn on g5 for a little bit longer. Yep. Rook b8.
Now
Good
g6.
move. Now just Zugzwang him. Where are you going?
Oh, yeah,
Where
king c2, yeah.
Got to come back to d6 maybe? Nope. He
Now
lets
king
the king
b3.
out.
Ah, he
Rook
stopped
a8.
it with rook a8.
And again, king b3 to b2. Oh! Yu Yangyi, like, you know, he sees Zugzwangs as fast as we see maiden ones.
Now he's going to try the other way.
Yeah. G6, get back, king f4, e5.
That should do it.
Looks pretty sufficient.
Yeah, that's a lot of pawns.
Everything's rolling.
Yeah.
There's
Nice technique.
Nowhere to go.
Yeah, g7 should win.
G7
and then bishop
looks
g4
right.
should
Bishop
win.
g4.
And that should be it. That's it. Yep, and he resigned.
Boom.
Wow.
So that brings the Pandas back into the match.
4-4. But these games are all tough. Wow, it's a tough 4-4.
Top two firing in all cylinders this round. We got wins from Yu Yangyi and Li Chiao, both looking good this round.
I think Chengdu's pretty happy it's 4-4. I think Dallas could have the lead this match.
Yeah.
I think they're pretty happy with their 4-4.
All right, let's see if Dreyev's 2-0 can hold up as he starts facing the GMs from the Kangaroos now. He's 2-0'd their IMs. Time to face the Smirnov.
He's playing Smirnov.
He's got the bishop pair, but he had to sack one of his rooks to get it, so that's not as impressive.
Yeah, but this looks good for White.
This
looks really good for White. Well,
Okay.
I'm winning my material back. I'm going to be a pawn up at least. This looks good.
I guess the point is just to play this position with the extra doubled B pawn.
Yeah, but I might get a passed H pawn. That could happen at some point.
Okay. If
could
that were
happen.
the plan, why didn't he just do it last move? He's coming from G5. He didn't go for the H pawn. I don't know. We'll have to find out. We'll have to find out what the technique is here for Dreyev. But if there's one thing that Dreyev has in spades, it's technique.
It's technique, exactly. Yeah. Wow, Michael Brown's game with Cerana is so crazy.
What is this pawn center?
There's a lot of pawns in the center. What's the material? It's equal material.
Presumably they all have their pieces. It's just
and White's threatening E5.
Pawn's getting crazy, yeah.
Wow, what a crazy position.
All right, close your eyes and tell me who you'd like to be, white or black.
I guess black, because black has a pawn on D4.
Okay.
I like that pawn.
All right.
It's a center pawn.
My instinct is also to like black.
Also, white has rook A1, bishop C1, knight A4. It's a little iffy. White's pieces are a little iffy. But yeah, I mean, luckily, this is why I do commentary instead of playing. My heart can't take these positions. Too complicated. Wow, Joshua Shang's game, all the pieces are hanging. I'm so confused. Against Izat.
Let's see it.
Whose turn it is.
Let's see everything hang.
So
Joshua
Queen C1
Shang.
was played. Wow.
Joshua Shang is 0-2 to start the day, so he hasn't had his magic yet.
And the last move was Queen C4 to C1. Wow.
The most illogical move possible here.
What? Okay, so White's up a piece, and all of White's pieces are hanging, but you can't take on F6.
No, that one we can establish pretty.
I guess if you play Bishop D5, he wants to play Queen G5. I think that's why he played Queen C1. He wants to get Queen G5 in somehow.
Bishop G5, Queen G5, and then on Queen G6, he can
Queen
take on
G6 actually is
D5.
probably okay.
queen f6, and then knight d4, and
man, somehow we're getting an equal position. How'd that happen?
White's even down a pawn though.
Oh, White's down a pawn still.
Yeah, he's invested some pawns in this weird series of tactics. So, but maybe on bishop d5 he has something else in mind as well, like knight h4.
There's knight h4.
Right?
There's bishop g7 and queen g5 checking knight h4. It's very complicated.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, okay, that's why Black's having this huge thing.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, queen c4 to c1.
That's weird. This is a little hard to fathom here.
And somehow Smirnov saved everything. He didn't lose his exchange backs. He's just up in exchange against Dreyev.
And Keaton's position, there's a knight on c8. This is very random looking as well.
What knight on c8?
There's a knight on c8.
He must have taken a bishop.
If Black took it, he would play bishop takes g4. So he plays knight e5. This knight can get back out to e7, but Black's hope is that it'll remain trapped at that point.
Right.
Black also has 3 pawns against the piece. So
yeah, that's not a good piece either. Yeah.
No, 3 pawns against this terrible piece. But it's impossible to say what's going on in any of these games, really.
That's
other
right.
than Dreyev's technical game would be the one we'd have the best chance.
Very confusing.
But even there, he chose not to take back the exchange, as you said, and so it's a weird material balance. I don't think you can confidently
game, I think Joshua made a mistake.
Any of these.
Okay. I think Joshua made a mistake last. If he played queen takes d5,
queen takes d5,
then knight e5, and now
e5.
Maybe for once in my life, my queen g5 is going to happen.
For once in your life, maybe queen g5 could happen.
Yeah, because before when I played queen g5, you just said, yeah, whatever. But now...
Yeah, whatever, queen g6.
Now
it's more
serious.
Now it's more serious.
Knight e5, blocking the queen from the king's side.
Right. That's called interference. Interference, stopping the defense.
So what's happening here? Black's up 2 pawns, and White has threatening everything. Queen g5, bishop takes d5.
Yeah. It's time to sack the queen. Yep.
He's going to have 2 pieces. Wow, and also if he trades on e5, his knight can go to f3. Wow. That's some serious compensation.
Yeah, but maybe there's queen c5 here. Nah, it doesn't do that much.
I could play queen g5 here, and bishop takes f6, queen takes d5.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be a little bit tricky. It was definitely time to make that sack. It was time.
That's right, because queen g5 was killer. Yeah, every game is amazing. No result can be predicted in this match. And right now, Australia, surprising me, is up 5-3. I wasn't predicting that.
Yeah. Yeah, apparently some kind of algorithm predicted or suggested that the Kangaroos were the favorites, but you and I both thought it was the Surfers.
I mean, it's a 1 versus a 4 seed, and San Diego's been killing it every match.
Yeah.
San Diego's been great all season.
Wow. I am Jack Rogers is going to win the Pacific Division. Only problem is I don't know which team he's on, but but I'm sure everybody thinks they're going to win the Pacific Division at this point. And it's good to win the Pacific Division, because if you win the Pacific Division, you win the league. All right. Izat played your idea. He played queen g5, trading off the light squared bishop instead of the dark squared bishop.
Idea. Yeah.
And now, I mean, there's some work for White to do, but you would think that White has an edge here.
I'll take White all day, but...
Against the 2 pieces and the 2 pawns.
It's not easy. Yeah, it's very difficult to win.
Yeah. Yeah, what a match. All right, let's click around because mad stuff is happening. This D pawn that you liked has gone from D4 to D3.
Mm-hmm. That's happened in 2 different games. I'm not sure what game you're talking about.
White sort of developed...
Cerana's game, I know.
White's rook got out for one moment, right? One quick breath of fresh air, and then knight B3. It's like, get back in your cage. Back he goes, rook B1. That doesn't look good. Rook E8, knight C3, knight D4. Still feels like Black's got the better prospects here.
Yeah. No, I like Black's position. It's funny when you said Black got his pawn to D3 because that's what Keaton just did. He got his pawn to D3.
His pawn to D3. Let's see.
All these games are getting similar. Yeah.
This knight is effectively pretty effectively trapped for the moment. Oh, but he's got pieces hanging here and pieces hanging here. What the?
B4, D3 takes.
Yeah, B4 maybe was not the best moment to play D3 because
no,
then
G5.
His piece gets taken.
G5.
What on earth?
G5.
There is nothing logical in this entire round.
Man, the chess is hard.
He's going for F6 or something. He's like throwing every pawn he has at this knight on E7 instead of trying to clean it up.
Right. Luckily, I have an emote for this. I need an adult.
By the time he gets this piece back, he'll have ruined his king position and given up all his 3 extra pawns. I don't think his position was this. I mean, I think his position was worth more than this.
He'll still be a pawn up, right? But yeah, his position.
Yeah, but
totally
now it's
ruined.
like everything about his position is yucky. The bishop, the king, like I mean, it's like White's down a pawn with compensation.
That's right. That's right.
He had 3 pawns. Dreyev's down to a minute. What is this his plan or not? He's got his exchange back.
He got everything back. He's a pawn up.
But he doesn't have that outside H pawn idea that you liked before.
No.
He could put his pawn on
7 minutes to a minute.
He could maybe put his pawn on C5 here to try and talk to that knight on C8, make him question his existence.
Yeah, but then I'll play rook F4.
Then rook F4, huh?
And then if you play rook E2, I'll play rook F5.
And the more I move, the more things get bad for me, huh?
Yeah, C5, you got to watch it. Yeah. No, this seems like Black. Let's say he's escaped. I don't know if he was worse, but
right.
I mean,
but he doesn't.
Black seems like he's okay here, and I really like his time situation.
You like the 7 minutes, like he can handle
like
whatever
7 minutes
happens.
to 1. Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't see a player of Dreyev's caliber down 7 minutes to 1 against anybody because that's not a good idea. He knows better than that.
Yeah. Oof. Okay. Next crazy position we're gonna go to.
Well, Michael Brown Cerana is the craziest position ever.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm so confused. And this is another crazy time disparity. Michael Brown with 1:25.
So that knight on B3 was pretty good, but he traded it for the light squared bishop, weakens the long diagonal, and that bishop on C6 looking pretty strong. We've seen what that bishop could do already once today.
Yeah. No, beautiful bishop.
Briefly in that Yu Yang Yi game last round. So that looks nice. All good there. But at least White got all his pieces out. Now he just has to do something about this knight on G3, who's complete garbaggio.
I mean, with Black's pawn on G3, the 2 bishops, the white squares, and the time advantage, and the rating differential, and some other things, it's got to be good for Black.
Got a whole tasting menu of ways to do something
all
good.
Kinds of good stuff. It's all vegan too.
I think he was looking at the idea of F6 here with his bishop C7 move.
Never play F6.
I think that's what he wants to do. Because he wants to break open his rook and his bishop. He needs a way to finish the game, right? He can't win just on G2. He needs something more. And I think that, the idea was like F6, and then if pawn takes, rook takes, bishop on E3.
That's an idea.
And even if the white queen were on D2, I think he would have still gone for F6 and rook takes E3 and then bishop B6, etc. was kind of what he was starting to look at. So.
Yeah, Keaton's position is really taking a turn for the worse. I mean, he's up a pawn, but his position's terrible. This is good for Kubakarov. He's got his knight on E6 ensconced in Black's position. The bishop on G7 is terrible. F pawn is weak. Yeah, this is good for White. That game was really crazy. It still is. And Joshua was down a queen, but I don't know what's going on here. I don't know.
This rook has ventured pretty deep.
Yeah, what's going on? How'd that rook get there? How's that even possible?
It's not possible. At some point, he just said, "Look over there," and drops his rook.
Yeah, he played rook C5, rook D5, rook D7, back to G5.
Yeah.
Now this isn't easy to play White. Black has a passed D pawn. Black has a lot of extra pawns. The rooks are weird.
Yeah.
He's got less time. There's good compensation for a queen.
Yeah, I always go back.
We all know the famous game, where Sarwan drew Kasparov by sacrificing a queen for 2 pieces and 2 pawns in the opening, that famous King's Indian line. It's not easy to win. And White sacrificed material. Now it's rook, knight, and pawn against queen. It seems like Black has good drawing chances.
Yeah.
And Dreyev is down to 17 seconds against 5.5 minutes.
That's no good. He's also down a couple of pawns, right?
He's losing his pawns, too.
What happened to all his stuff?
The stuff is disappearing.
What happened to the king of technique? Smirnov's extra time is coming through for him.
Yep. Well, that's what happens when 5 minutes to 15 seconds.
Well, I think Dreyev's about to fall.
With White after going 2-0, losing with White.
And if Dreyev falls, the surfers fall, right?
That's usually the way it goes. The statisticians know what they're talking about. They said Australia was the favorite. I didn't believe them. Smirnov's usually good at wrapping up when he's winning, too. Good technique for Smirnov, usually.
All right. That one, still crazy. How's Keaton doing? We haven't checked in on him for a while. Look at that knight on e6. This is the pawn up I didn't want. Bishop on g7, knight on e6. Ugh. So many things that can go wrong. I think Keaton's in some trouble here.
No, I agree. Yeah. The position really turned around. He did everything he could to get his knight back, but he ruined his position doing it. With that knight on e6, it's hard to play black.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, 4 seconds for Dreyev, and he's down 3 pawns. 4 minutes to 7 seconds.
Yeah, they've all dropped. 2.9 seconds. He's got nothing to work with here. Nothing. All right. Odds of a miracle. Odds of a miracle draw down all these pawns.
Not good. 2 connected pass pawns on the king side. 4 minutes to 6 seconds. Not good chances for a miracle. It would be a miracle. Wow, in Cerana's game with Michael Brown, somehow Michael Brown got his bishop trapped on a7.
Not the side of the board you thought he would lose on, huh?
And then Black took it. Yeah.
Knight check. All right, score you a check. How did
that
bishop get
for check?
That bishop got to a7 because he got hungry for a pawn?
He took a pawn. He took a pawn on a7, yeah.
Wow. All right, so king h8 probably better than king f8 here.
This is looking amazing for Australia this round. Australia's like
unbelievable.
Australia could go 4-0 this round.
They could sweep them, yeah.
They could go 4-0 this round. The match is over.
Which would actually end things.
The match would be over with a whole round to go.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't even believe it. You told me all your picks were wrong, but then I made some picks. Why did I do that?
Cerana's got to be pretty confident that he sees this back rank, but I guess he is. So now he's up a whole piece again because his rook's hanging. That's it. That's a GG.
Dreyev's losing. Michael Brown's losing.
Still down all his pawns.
Keaton's probably, I don't know how Keaton's doing. He might be okay.
He could be okay. At least his bishop on g7 got traded.
Joshua's probably better now with his queen down. I think Joshua's taking the advantage against Izat.
The advantage? He's got a rook and knight against the queen.
No, but his pieces are all great.
Really? So he's going to go knight e3, rook f1, and just checkmate the guy?
His king is safer. He got more pawns. Yeah, he's got more time.
He's got more time.
It's turning around.
And Izat is the unknown factor here for the Kangaroos.
Yeah, and all 3 results are possible in Keaton Kirwa's game, so this match isn't over.
But honestly, if they take down Dreyev, I mean, the surfers might survive this round, but they're not going to come back.
It's not good.
No.
No, Black really consolidated his 2 extra pawns, too.
Yeah, all right. Let's see if he can checkmate this thing. King comes out. That's bold.
Okay, so Michael Brown just resigned.
Okay.
As we predicted.
Logical.
And Izat has 17 seconds left.
Yeah.
And Kubakarov has 12 seconds left.
Against Keaton. So he might, that endgame could go any which way, but I'm watching this. Right. I'm trying to see this queen lose to a rook and knight. That would be pretty exciting to me.
That could happen.
All right, he's trying to set up rook d8 and rook h8 checkmate as counterplay, but that's never going to work. I mean, anytime he moves this rook away, then rook f2 check, king h3, or rook h2 mate.
And rook h2 mate, right.
Yeah. He doesn't have any latitude here. Dude is completely without latitude.
Yeah. And Kubakarov has doubled on the 7th rank, and Keaton's like, so what?
So what, huh?
You can double on the 7th rank, I don't care.
6, 5. All right, Ben, which of these games is going to end first? Which do we have to keep our eyes on? We've got 3 people with 5 seconds on their clocks.
8 seconds, and Kubakarov has 8 seconds, and Dreyev has 4 seconds.
Yeah.
Wow.
Is he ever going to play G5, G4 or anything? No, I guess not. He wants to get his rook to the second rank. Rook C2 denying it. Good call. Knight back to E3. He could go to E2 now, and that's not what Shang wanted.
No, Knight
there
E3
goes Shang's play.
Yep.
Although, he could have tried G5, G4. he's going to have to try that at some point. Queen D3 preventing it, maybe by accident, G5, maybe on purpose. But G5, G4's got to be the play, right?
Yeah, this is tough for White. Yeah, G5, G4 is winning now.
Is it?
It's got to be.
Nice.
Nah, he just moves his king back, making him suffer.
Back and forth, back and forth.
Making him suffer.
What is he going for? Nobody knows.
But it's scary.
Move the G-pawn.
Well, you can claim a draw, I think. White could have claimed a draw there.
Yeah, anybody could claim a draw here. It's like 10
claim a
repetition.
draw. Oh, man, if I'm White, I'm claiming a draw.
G5, finally. Let's do it.
Man, if I was White, I'd be claiming a draw all day with 9 seconds and getting mated.
Get him.
Wow.
He won by pre-move. It says won by checkmate, but he won by pre-move. As King H4 was played, it was already like boom.
Yep. No, I mean, White could have claimed a draw there, and he had to because he was getting mated and had no time.
Okay. What's happening here? A couple pawns against the knight. Rook here, knight there, rook there, knight moves.
That's what you're looking at.
I'm looking at Keaton, some sick scramble here.
Pawns both sides have no time.
I think it's a draw.
And Keaton's...
I think he can just play rook A5, B2, rook B5.
Okay, then White can try to squeeze that.
Right. I'm just saying White could do that. There's no way they lose, and they can try and squeeze it. All right, so Keaton's now offering a draw. Kubakarov kind of out of time. Yeah, he should have been content to take that endgame. I don't know what he thinks he's playing for. That's better than that.
Yeah, B2.
B2. Hello, rook A3. Hello.
Okay, so it's still a draw, but
oops. Yeah.
Anything can happen with so many.
Behind, I guess. Sure. Dreyev's still playing, by the way. I don't know how, but he's still playing.
Man, Dreyev's in a lot of trouble. Wow. Dreyev's in serious trouble.
Okay, he just lost.
Yeah, he resigned. Yeah,
he resigned. So I guess that was serious trouble.
Well, they needed that win from Joshua. Otherwise, the match would have been over.
All right.
It looks like Keaton's going to save the day.
Looks like Keaton's going to get a draw out of this one, probably.
Right. So 6-4 for Australia.
That's a big lead. Well done, Australia.
And then Smirnov won, so 7-4, and now 7.5, 4.5. So it's almost over, and they just drew. It's almost over. 7.5, 4.5 is huge.
Yep. Draw agreed. So there you have it.
And they must have started the other games, right? Dallas and Chengdu. They must have.
They're fighting away. Here.
They never sleep.
No. There's
Chiao has his usual 7-minute time advantage against Conrad Holtz in a totally insane position. Very confused.
Yeah, bishop takes h3, the famous tactic on the g2 pawn being overworked here.
Just like us, overworked.
Wins a pawn, breaks through the king side. Man. For me, that would be instant regret on the a5 pawn. I assume he saw it.
Wow, can you believe Australia's up 7.5, 4.5? Wow. We need the biggest comeback in chess history, because if they win 3.5 half, if San Diego can somehow do that, they win a tiebreaker. They move on. It seems very unlikely.
7.5, 4.5. That is
incredible.
Tremendous. I'm getting absolutely every prediction wrong. Did I pick the Surfers to win the whole league? I may have. No, I think I picked the regular season. I think I picked Chengdu in the end.
Before the season started, I picked Chengdu, but
I crunched a bunch of numbers yesterday to figure out who all the best teams were finally. Before that, I'd just sort of been going by instinct in all these rounds. I just sort of been like, this team seems good. This team seems good. So yesterday, I crunched a bunch of numbers, which is what I did last year. Crunch a whole bunch of numbers, figure out which team's the best. And then using that information, I was able to predict everything wrong for the first time.
Nice.
Wow. All right, so Luke Harman Faladi just said, like, yep, you got my H-pawn, but he's definitely not going to play GH3 and let the queen into his F3 square. So some trades happen. The game...
Everybody's taking the H-pawn.
The game progresses. I guess nobody has a clear advantage yet. Let's check out the top guns here. Like you were saying, Conrad Holt and Li Chiao. Looks kind of like a Nightorf, but it's not. Man, look how fast Li Chao's playing again. 11 minutes. Conrad plays like rook g4 with who knows what kind of threats of murder on f3 and g2. He just plays rook a3 instantly. He's like, I don't need to think about this stuff. This is, whatever. Obvious. Beginner stuff.
Materials equal. Black has the 2 bishops. They attack. White has this monster pawn on a7. And as per usual, Li Chao's up 9 minutes on the clock.
As per usual, he's like, yeah, this situation, pretty simple.
Easy position.
Pretty simple.
Wow. Let's see. Zhu Wenjun's position's about equal, but she's way ahead on the clock.
Okay. Let's see how it is. Yeah.
This match is so close. It's 4-4 and 4 crazy positions.
Couldn't be much closer at this point. All right. The Panda himself, Chess Panda. Somebody's got to slow down Gorovets.
Well, Gorovets
has so far?
Gorovets has a good position, and he's got more time.
He's got 2 out of 2 also. That's the other thing he's got.
Gorovets is playing great. I mean, Yu Yang you would think is at a different level, but you can't tell from this game or from this match.
No, he does not have the position he wants. I mean, he had that fantastic long combination with the rooks, with the exchange sack and all that. That was brilliant. But this game, it's like
he's got nothing.
Nothing at all. Man, Gorovets is on a different.
He's got plenty of it.
Gorovets is on a different level today. He's carrying this team today. He's 2-0.
He is.
And
the rest of the team is not 2-0.
No, but if he scores against Yu Yang Yi as well, I mean, that's he's really making a play for top. All right, let's see what's happening here with Holt, because he's down to a minute. This game, Li Chao's going to make sure this game ends first, just by blitzing him off the clock. So after pawn to e4, he throws in rook b7 quickly.
So he finally sacked the exchange.
Doesn't have to think too long about pawn takes knight, queen takes e8. I'm with him on that. So queen takes b7. Knight to e1. Not the fanciest square.
Rook h4, the only square. Queen a6 instantly.
Another instant move.
Man, his moves are pretty good too.
I like his pre-move level.
Pretty good moves.
That rook on h4 sort of trapped, right? So the reason he went to h4 was not to checkmate on h1, but it was to extricate the rook through h5 and then back to the game at some point.
Now White has a million threats. f6, b7, a8, and insane time advantage.
Now, why didn't Li Chiao think for a minute if queen a6 was like a forced win? Doesn't he normally stop for like a moment to calculate the win? Once Li
Chao's trying to play faster than Hikaru. He's trying as hard as he can. Doing a good job too.
Sent Hikaru like a text message while playing, like, "Hey, check this out.
Yeah, look at this.
I'm moving really fast with my left hand while I text you."
Wow. Yeah, exactly. Man, this is crazy how fast and good he plays.
Yeah. Well, Li Chiao, he's that good. Look,
Bishop e3 like pre-moved.
Yeah, he doesn't even play rook takes f6.
He like pre-moved Bishop e3.
Yeah.
What?
I don't know. I don't
know. I would have taken that bishop all day. I would have taken that bishop. I would have pre-moved taken the bishop.
Yeah.
Wow.
Me too.
10 minutes and 40 seconds to 14 seconds.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, here comes the mating attack. Rook h8 and rook h1 mate. They put the other rook to h8.
Other rook to h8, yeah.
I mean, king f1, king e2 was an easy defense.
Would kind of have stopped it. Oh, that's not a good square to hide on, man. That's not where you want to be.
Yeah, I thought bishop h2 was nothing to sneeze at, but it was.
You got to come to see. It turned out surprising sneeze induction.
That's right. Somebody says to me, it's 11:41 a.m. in China. Not hard to predict your opponent's move when you're from the future.
Yeah,
that's right. There was a Family Guy like that. They were in the future.
That would have been the time to play chess and place bets.
Wow, he won on time.
Just won on time.
Yeah, he didn't move after G3.
Doesn't really matter what I do as long as I do it fast.
He's losing after G3. He's just losing.
Yeah, I mean, why did that bishop go to H2?
Ow.
I guess when you've got 3 seconds, your hands just move, and you're like, I don't know why I did any of that. Don't ask me.
That's amazing how fast he plays.
All right, let's see. Zhu Wenjun, still pretty solid. Still pretty solid. So let's check out this board 4
here. He sees the lead. Chengdu's up 5-4.
Let's see what Luke can do. I mean, he's got a nice pass to A pawn. He's captured on B7 as well. So Zhao Yang has got to whip something.
So she plays G4.
Got to whip something up. So comes here with G4. But it's still like, I mean, there's not a single active piece for black other than the queen. So
no, it looks good for Luke.
Seems like Luke's got really good prospects at this point. Well, that's 3 points for Li Chiao. So this is the clash of board 2s coming up. Gorovets and Li Chiao next round. These guys are really carrying here.
Yeah, and Yu Yangyi totally got out of trouble, and now he's better. Somehow he got rid of his isolated pawn, and he doubled Gorovets's pawns. It's like he's 2750. That's amazing. I mean, now it's just better for white.
How did he do that?
Wow.
I don't believe it.
Now, wait a minute. He played King D2. Isn't there some C4 trick? You can do that?
All right, let's just
if you play Rook takes, you can play King takes. Okay.
All right, so he plays Bishop to E3, and for some reason, Gorovets doesn't just trade on E3.
Yeah,
Gorovets was just getting aggressive here. He was getting aggressive.
F5 is a weird move.
Yeah, I mean, he just wanted to kill this king, you know. He wanted to
He gets rid of
maximum
white's isolated
damage.
pawn and doubles his own pawns. Wow.
Right. Well, and to also have the option of C5, C4. I mean, he's just trying to kill him here. So, King D2, if pawn to C4, there's just Rook E8.
Rook E8.
And
if you take
escapes.
this first, I can play King takes.
Yeah. So going back, if black plays Rook E1 first, then King takes, and now C4 also won't work.
Right.
King's not there.
Well,
the
this
check
is what's
there.
happening. He has to take with the king. He did.
Yeah, he will.
I mean, I'll take white here because my pawns are better.
Yeah.
I mean, it might be a draw,
and the
but
king is closer to the queenside stuff, right?
I mean, it might be a draw, but like now white has the better part of the draw. So yeah, that was a bad decision by Gorovets.
Oh, Gorovets was feeling it, man. He was feeling it. He was like,
him. Yeah.
He was like, I got this. 2750, no worries. About to kill him. And then, yeah, not quite the precise kill.
Look, I know one thing for next year.
Yeah.
If I have a team, whoever I am, whichever team I am, I want Li Chiao on my team.
You want Li Chiao on your team?
That's all I know about the Pro Chess.
Why are you telling other people about this?
Yeah, I just want Li Chiao on my team.
The other managers are going to line up.
Yeah, I don't care what team it is. I just want Li Chiao on my team.
Like, you're right. Yeah. He did win every single game last year. Yeah. Then somehow the chess bras don't re-sign him. Then the Pandas at first didn't play him. Did you notice that? The first several weeks they didn't play him. They were like, well, we got so many 2700s, whatever. But
exactly.
Li Chao's not just a 2700. He's also one who like wins every game in the Pro Chess League.
Yeah, Li Chiao is tough. They need him too. They need every Li Chiao point this match. All right, so Yu Yangyi is turning it around. He went from worse to better. And Vlade's game still looks really good.
Yeah, let's see what Vlade can get done here.
Zhu Wenjun's game, I don't know.
He traded on G4, logical. Rook F1. So he's not rushing the A pawn. He's thinking he wants to put his rook on F3 maybe. He's looking at F7. So he's sort of forcing some defense. He's trying to force He's trying to force Zhao Yang onto the defensive, you know, come with Rook F3, Rook G3, that kind of stuff. So
no, I mean, white has a better bishop and an extra past A pawn. So should just be
could maybe go for Rook F4. Go for Rook F4? I don't think he needs to. Whoops. All right, so he gets that rook there. So now where's he going? What's the next step in this puzzle? Of course! He's got a perfect move plan. There you go, Luke.
A6. Wow.
There you go.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that's tough to meet. Man. That's a tough... Past A pawn's pretty good. That's tough to meet.
Yeah. Somebody else points out that last year the Chess Bros were in the semifinals of the Pro Chess League. Right?
I remember because I played them a million games.
You played them a million games. That was one of the most exciting matches ever played.
That was amazing, yeah. So at some point in that match, David, I lost 5 games in a row. And when I said I did, Greg Shahadi said, no, you didn't. And I said, yes, I did. Then he looked, he's like, wow, you lost 5 games in a row. And I was like, yeah, I know. Man, that was tough.
It's like, how do you lose 5 games in a row in one match?
That's right. And I won the last 3. There was a lot of games in that match.
That was a lot of games.
So I drew the first game against Eric Hansen. Then I lost every game. And then I won the last 3, including I beat Alexander Lichiez 2 games in a row. The last 2 games. So
that's some wonky, wonky pairings.
I was losing, and we were somehow tied the match. It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
And so Wesley says, like, dude, just make a draw. And I couldn't. I just lose every game.
But Cyan Riddle's point with this whole thing is that they were in the semifinals playing a super close match, tied match with the eventual winners, the St. Louis Archbishops.
Thank you.
Li Chiao makes his own Chinese team, leaves the Chess Bras, and they got relegated from the league. They didn't just not make the semifinals. They didn't just not make the playoffs. They didn't even make
they had
the
Fabiano
50%
also,
cut.
So they lost a couple of good players.
Yeah. But you know, that's the Li Chiao impact. All right.
Fabiano and Li Chiao, that's a good 1-2 punch.
A6, Rookie 8. Yeah. I like how Luke's playing this. Looks like he could get into C6 now, maybe.
What's that?
Looks like he could get into C6 now with the pressure he's put.
No, it's just winning for White. Yeah. White's clearly winning.
Speaking of winning, is Yu Yang Yi going to win? His king's coming
that's what I was looking at.
Dangerously close to C4. I think if he gets to C4, he wins for sure. That's what I'm thinking.
I agree with that.
So, King D5, does that hold him off? Gorbets is having to think about it.
Well, he's analyzing. Okay, he played King E5. He was analyzing King C4, King F4.
Right.
And I guess he calculated that was okay. Right. I do not agree. King C5, King G3, B4. There's no way that's okay. So that's just crazy.
King G3, B4. This is crazy talks has been.
There's no way that's okay.
A5,
King he just didn't see B4. A6. He was looking at King C6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was looking at White slowly taking all the pawns.
B4 is just queening.
This is all being played. B4 played.
No, that's you know.
Oh,
I'm
man.
old. I like king and pawn endings.
You got Yang Yi.
I gave an endgame lecture tonight at my chess center before we came on the air. So I love king and pawn endings. I like making queens.
Yeah.
Wow, he just lost that endgame so quickly. He went from slightly better to lost in like 8 moves.
You know, if you played King D5, White had like B3 or G3 or something, and he may have still lost anyway. I don't know how closely he looked at it.
That's possible, yeah. But this is just easy win. Yeah.
Yeah.
He gets the queen, his opponent doesn't. That's not good.
No, that's a major advantage. Major.
Yeah, he could just play queen G8 and king takes C6 and take the queen, and he still wins. Yeah. That's the easy way to win.
There are a few things that
there's probably an easier way to win, but queen G8 is easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, queen G8, king H2, A5. Nothing's easier than that. A5 resigns. Yeah. Nothing could be easier than A5. Yeah. That's it.
This feels like the moment where the Pandas have
he played A5
have woken up and it's all over. Well, he's making a run for it.
Well, it's a team tournament, so you don't want to resign.
Yeah.
Now, he can win by not taking the C pawn because there's no stalemate. The pawns of this, that's what he's doing.
Yeah. He could also win by taking C6, trading the H pawn.
Now he should play queen G3, H2, and move his king.
Honestly, I think he's confused that.
No, it's forced mate. Queen G3, H2, King D6.
King D6, C5. I think he's confused the game's still going, but he's like, all right, I'll do this thing.
Good technique.
Who do you think I am?
Nice. I was just telling my kids this like a few days ago that this is a drawn ending, and if you give black another pawn, it's an easy win because there's no stalemate.
Okay, it's getting heavy.
Just discussing it.
Looks like Luke's finally getting in here. He just took on F7, which is always
game was a draw,
which is always good. Oh, and Zhu Wenjun's game already ended in a draw.
And
that was a balanced game.
Win.
Don't worry, we didn't miss anything there, folks.
It was pretty balanced throughout. That's right. Okay, so what's happening in this match?
I think the Pandas have taken a slight lead here.
7-5, or no, it's going to be 6.5, 5.5 for the Pandas.
Yeah. Oh, Luke is sacking the queen. He's getting fancy on this one.
Oh,
love it.
Pretty winning.
Love it. A little bit of flair from Luke.
Yeah.
He's done it all. Rook A1, Rook A4.
That'll do it.
Or just A7, A8.
A7, that'll do it.
Well done, Luke. Well done.
Okay, so it's 7.5, 4.5 for Australia.
Yeah.
And it's 6.5, 5.5 for Chengdu.
Yeah.
And I assume Australia's already playing their last match.
They are.
I assume.
We're trying to get it on screen. Somehow Cerana and Andreev are already deep into their endgame.
They've played a million moves pretty quickly, and San Diego needs 3.5 half. They'll tie the match at 8, and they'll win on tie breaks.
They only need 3.5, huh?
That's all they need.
Well, let's look board by board. Andreev
and the boards are playing each other. Board 1 plays board 1. Board 2 plays board 2. It's the last round.
Andreev has an extra pawn, so that's good. These teams are... Oh, there goes his knight. That's not good. His bishop. Okay, here comes the knight. Whoa. This is not...
Yeah, king G7, the knight
winnable.
F5 check, and E6.
This does not seem winnable.
And if king G8, the knight G6. So it's just better for white.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'll play knight G6
knight
now,
G6, pawn takes, rook E7.
But okay, black has a passed D pawn that's protected, so he probably can hold the draw, even though he played knight F5.
Knight F5
oh, because white wants to take that D pawn. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, but I'm guessing this is a draw. That's my guess. This should be a draw.
Feels drawable.
Yeah. But that's not good for Andreev. Everybody needs to win. San Diego needs to win on every board.
Yeah.
They can't afford a draw.
And Sevion saying, ugh, looks like the end. So let's see some other games. We got Smirnov versus Brown. Why is Brown's pawn on G5 here? What is...
Well, because he has to win. You got to win every game.
So he, as black here, played G5 himself. Wow. G3, Queen F6, H4.
Now, am I wrong, or is Smirnov killing it?
I'm pretty happy with his position here.
Isn't Smirnov winning every game?
He has 2.5 out of 3 so far.
That's pretty good.
Pretty much. I like his position here.
Yeah.
Then we've got Keaton versus Death Adder. And
black has a passed pawn. Nice bishop.
Black has a passed
Rook's
pawn.
A little funny. Rook's a little funny.
Yeah. That's a strategic one. We'll see what comes of that. And then we've got Josu. Joshua Shang, white against Kui Bokharov.
Ooh, that's not good for Joshua when he needs to win. No. I don't want to need to win this position with white.
No, you do not.
No, I want to need to draw, not win.
Yeah, white is
worse. I'll take black if I have to take a side.
White is worse. So just looking at these positions early in the round, it seems like there's no way that San Diego...
It looks like it's going to be 2-2, so they got to get some extra points quick.
There's no way that San Diego's winning all these games here.
There has to be a trick at the end.
All right.
There has to be.
Well, the Kangaroos, they've looked good all day. Let's see what Andreev does. He pushes his queenside pawns.
Andreev's doing fine. I didn't like his position 5 moves ago. Now he's doing fine.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't like what Michael's doing. He's opening up his king because he has to win. So when you have to win, sometimes you make some suspicious moves.
Yeah, that's going to be the most exciting game, I'm thinking. So I'm going there for a bit. Smirnov,
yeah,
we can...
I don't like Michael's game.
Go. You know who actually has won every game so far is Cerana. Cerana is like actual 3-0.
So Cerana and Smirnov have 5.5 out of 6?
Yeah.
That's reasonable, boards 1 and 2.
Yeah.
I wouldn't predict that before the match that they have 5.5 out of 6.
No,
I mean, yeah.
Especially since I predicted that San Diego was going to win. It was.
Yeah, I mean, if you told me Yu Yangyi and Li Chiao have 5.5 out of 6, I'd say, okay, that's reasonable.
That's sort of how the pandas are designed, but these guys are playing like a 24-68 board 4, so you're not expecting board 1 and 2 to win every single game. They're not, rated 2,800 here.
Andreev's game is just going to be a draw, and Serrano's going to be very happy to draw.
Yeah.
Because that means if anybody else on the team draws or wins, they win the match.
Yeah, and you don't want to mess around and try too hard to win this kind of end game against Andreev. That's not what your team needs from you, and that's not how things work either.
Smirnov's looking good. 4.5 minute time advantage, better position. Izot has a better position.
Yeah.
And I would take Kubakarov's position also. So,
definitely.
I think they're going to win 2.5 and just really crush the match.
Izot's better.
Yeah.
And not only are they like better, these are all positions that are like pretty hard to lose, you know, like.
Yeah. Oh, I could lose them, but yeah, you're right.
Well, I mean, you can, but there's no advantage for the surfers, you know, no position that looks like, oh, this is where we work it. Let's see.
And Chengdu's going into the last round with a point lead over Dallas.
Yeah, that'll be tight. That'll be tight.
All right, they're trading everything in Dreyev's game. It's a trade fest.
Trade fest. Let's see how he does it. A4, takes. Rook to A5. That's logical. Check him back. What do you think? You go up with white here, or you go back to F2?
Never going back.
Never going back.
Never going back.
So
me, I'd play King D4.
King D4.
I have to. My students would yell at me.
That's my instinct too.
But I think they both draw, so.
So you don't think it really matters?
Yeah, I don't think it matters what he does, but I go up because that's what I do.
Okay.
If I go up and lose, then I lose. What am I going to do?
Except when
you play. My king's active when I lose.
Like, I did it all right. If I lost, it's
no, because if I lose, I want to play King D4 and lose. If King F2 loses, they'll be like, "You play King F2. What are you doing?"
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go out, you know, to blaze the glory, not like defending and being passive.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, he's gonna draw.
Yeah.
I'm not really worried about his position.
All right. Well, Melik also says up. I was thinking up.
Yeah.
So we're all on the same page.
Yeah, except maybe Cerana.
Except maybe Cerana, who's having him think about it.
Yep. It's an important decision, yeah.
There he goes.
All right, so Michael went crazy again.
Yeah, of course.
D5, rawr.
That's what I wanted to see.
Rawr, D5.
So Queen D2. He breaks with D5. Yeah. Just got to keep playing crazy moves for Michael. And since he's lower on time, I think he wants to play his crazy moves earlier rather than later.
No, he knows what's up. He knows they have to win 3.5-half. And, you know, you got to do what you got to do. And basically, it was like last week when Mamedyarov lost to Dreyev.
Yeah.
I mean, he knew if he drew, the match was over. So a loss and a draw is the same thing. So you got to go for it.
Yeah.
That's the right attitude, too. And when you have black, you got to... Okay, he did go up with his king. Cerana played King D4.
Yep, he did.
And then A3.
But I'm going to check out some of the Smirnov action. I mean, of all the positions, this is the one with the most juice left in it. The only one with queens, I guess. So that's... Nope. Keaton and Death Adder have got queens, too. All right, Bishop E6. Brown's keeping it kind of calm. Keeping it kind of calm, yet crazy. Calm but crazy.
That's right.
That's where you want to be.
His time situation's not great. Not great. Joshua Shang's is allowing a passed H-pawn for his opponent. It's not good. So yeah, I don't see any of them winning. No. I don't see anybody winning for San Diego this match. I don't any of them. And 3 of them have to win.
Yeah.
They need 3 wins. It looks like there's not going to be a miracle.
Well, if there were to be a miracle, it would probably start with Brown somehow winning this game. That would be the start, I think. This one's kind of crazy, but it could give them some hope.
Oh, no, his structure is a little suspicious.
Smirnov makes a good choice here, probably. Just simplifies things a little bit. His e-pawn was under fire. He trades a
really
piece.
Bad for black.
Trades on d5. Now he's got squares for his knights all over the place.
Yeah, black's minor pieces can't do anything.
Light squared bishop looks kind of bad.
White's king is safer. White has 4 minutes more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
He's got all those things and more.
He's got a lot of issues here.
I guess knight a4 to c5 is what I would do next. On the principle that that blockades the black c-pawn. Gets into a weak dark square, and I think my knight on c3
he played f4. He's going after Michael's king.
All right.
Yeah, Michael's king is something.
Is something to go after, huh?
Yeah. If he plays g4, I wonder if White will play f5, getting access to h6. and then doing some mean things on the H file.
Seems illogical to me given the match situation. Like,
yeah, but I mean, if it's a good move, it's a good move. If you don't play G4, I'm going to take on G5. Then play Rook H6 anyway. Yeah, this doesn't look good. F4, I like F4.
Yeah, people from San Diego are starting to mourn. Somebody saying, come on, San Diego. The Surfers are the closest thing we've got to a sports team at this point. I guess that means that, that the Angels and the Clippers have pretty bad records this year. In the NBA and Major League Baseball.
You're naming Los Angeles teams. Yeah.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, and San Diego's
are those not San Diego teams?
San Diego's football team moved to Los Angeles.
Raiders? Oh.
What? What? Yeah, you keep naming Los Angeles teams. Oh. Yeah.
I don't know. They're somewhere. They're somewhere.
Well, the San Diego Chargers used to exist, and now they're the Los Angeles Chargers.
All right, G4 was played, so we're going to find out if Smirnov's as crazy as you. He is. F5. That's not what you do. That's not what you do when your team needs half a point. No, it is not. Your team needs half a point. One little half point.
You got to put these guys in their place.
No. Man, that's crazy. Look, you might even play like... No. You're just saying that something can go wrong. This is wrong. Absolutely wrong.
For some reason, Cerana moved his king all the way to the queen side. That's a very suspicious way of playing. Very suspicious. I mean, what's this king doing over there? What? I never would have thought of that. Man, I wish my king was on D4 now. I mean, now Dreyev's better.
Better, huh?
Smirnov sacking a pawn. Dreyev's better. Yeah.
I told you he shouldn't sack the pawn. You know I told you that, Ben.
Sack a pawn. Always sack a pawn. Come on, we need excitement. Yeah, Joshua and Keaton don't look too good. They don't look like they can win. One of them needs to win.
All right, so he sacks the pawn with F5. Michael Brown takes it back. Then he sits there thinking.
Think forever. Think forever.
This is preposterous, Ben. Your team needs one darn draw. And you're like, I know what? In this winning position, where I've got positionally everything controlled, I will sack a pawn and then sit there for a couple minutes looking for a follow-up.
Exactly. Well, you got to give everybody a chance. He's wondering, should he play queen h2 or rook h6 or knight d4? He's confused.
He should have thought of that before he threw away his f-pawn, man.
I mean, he knew I wanted to play f5 really badly, so he played it. Okay, he played rook df1.
Rook df1, wow. Yeah, that doesn't seem very good.
Doesn't?
Nope.
I don't know. I like white. White's got good rooks, nice dark squares, extra pawns meaningless.
You're kind of a madman. How about knight e4? How about knight e4?
Knight e4 forced.
Yeah. Or whatever. I guess
bishop
queen
e4.
I guess queen d4 is a sufficient.
Yeah, he played bishop e4.
All right, so bishop e4 is better then.
I really want to play rook h6. Rook h6. I don't care if it loses. I want to play it.
All right.
I really want to play it.
Well, yeah, your rook's attacked. I assume you want to play it.
He better play rook h6 because I've been screaming rook h6.
Yeah.
Then queen g7. I'm out of ideas, but I tried.
But you're like, at least I sort of moved a piece.
I did something. Yeah.
I did something before I blew this game.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, now what's going on here is Dreyev... Go to Cerana and Dreyev quick before the game ends.
All right, what's happening?
What's happening here? I need an adult. White has the worst king ever.
Very, very worst.
So he's wondering, should I play rook g3 or h2?
Most badliest. I would go rook g3.
Yeah. Rook g3.
I'm a little worried about h2 f4.
Well, the thing is, after rook g3, White runs his king over, and what does Black do?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think both moves draw. That's the problem.
Everything draws, so yeah.
Yeah, that's the problem.
That's why I'm not watching this game. That's why I'm watching. That's why I'm watching Smirnov self-destruct.
Go rook h6. Go Smirnov.
Yeah.
Rook h6.
All right, knight to c5.
No, I want Michael to win, so the match is really close.
Of course.
White's going for it.
So White's
Bishop
going
g6 is a weird move because he stopped rook h1, then he allowed it.
Yeah.
That's a strange thing to allow when you stopped it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess his bishop was attacked. So he had to do something.
His bishop was defended a million times. I don't know.
I know, but I mean, if I take the bishop, then I can play rook h1. So
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, this is really hard to defend for black, especially with the time situation. You're worried about queen h2, and you're worried about e5, and you're worried about queen d4. Everything's worrisome.
Yeah.
Knight e4. He's not worried at all.
Well, I think he was worried. He just wasn't really coming up with anything, so he decided he'd make a move rather than spending a minute on it.
That's right.
I'm clicking around. There's some kind of action in this Josu game as well. He's making a pass pawn, but I'm going to say it looks pretty desperate at the moment. He's just made this d5 pawn breakthrough here. You know, sacking a pawn to get a past e pawn.
Yep, lots of pass pawns as per usual.
Okay, maybe he's just trying
trapping the knight on f5.
Trapping the knight. There's rook f1 though. I mean, how could he really?
All three results possible.
The white win is still looking pretty implausible for Joshua.
It's possible, but it's more possible than it was.
Yeah. All right, so Smirnov has now traded 2 rooks for the queen. And continuing with his plan of not keeping it simple.
That's right.
And sacking material when your team doesn't want you to.
Exactly.
Sack. The follow-up is knight e2. Really, whatever. Good job, man. And
Andreev's game is a dead draw.
I'm hating this approach here.
It's a dead draw.
As if you couldn't tell.
Yeah. Exactly.
All right.
Okay, so Cerana Andreev is basically
connected.
So they need to win every game because Dreyev's going to draw.
Because Dreyev's going to draw, yeah.
And I mean, Kirwa's worse.
Yeah.
Joshua's probably equal.
They're all worse.
Brown could win, except he has 30 seconds to 3 minutes, but he could win. We could see a miracle.
He could look at bishop takes c2 here, but he comes up with something else. I thought his plan was bishop takes c2 there, but goes for rook here instead. Now he's got to bring the other rook to c6. Jack king here.
Yeah, it's not good for Brown. The time situation's bad.
No, San Diego ticking down.
Kirwa has a lot more time than his opponent. A lot more time. So Kirwa could win that game.
Yeah.
It could still be a match.
It's possible if we look at that.
Joshua's trying to win this position where he's not winning. He's trying.
Yeah.
Okay, and they drew Dreyev and Cerana. So either San Diego goes 3-0 the last 3 games, or they don't.
Right.
If they go 3-0, they tie the match and therefore win the match.
Yep.
The only person who looks likely to win is Keaton because he has a monster time advantage and he has an extra pawn.
Yeah, you've got 18 seconds on your clock and your king on g3. That's a tough situation. Izzat is 1-2 on the evening so far, so
it's hard for Brown to win because Brown has 14 seconds, so that's not good.
Makes it hard for him to outpace this one. He would need a little bit of miracle. He does have a lot of experience playing without time on his clock. He is a quick player. Somebody asked, "Isn't Michael just winning?" Yeah, he's got a good position, but I don't know about winning because you know the queen can give a lot of perpetuals here. He can't cover the dark squares. I don't think that white should lose yet, but
no, I'd rather take white here.
Oh, he may have. What's this rook going to do? If it goes to g3, there's queen e5, c7, queen e5. It's got to go to e3. Okay. Finds it finally. It took a moment.
Yep.
Queen f4.
No, now white's just winning.
Down to e1. Wait, why is white winning?
Queen f7.
Oh, queen f7. Yeah. Oops.
Yeah. He's just winning now. Well, his opponent has 9 seconds left.
That was the time playing its role.
Oh, and repeating wins the match, but knight e6 also wins the match.
Knight e6 does also win the match. I'm with you.
Taking on a5 wins the match. Taking on g4 wins the match.
There's nothing that doesn't win the match anymore.
Yeah, it's just winning now. Yeah.
So that'll do it. Smirnov kept his cool, but that was risky, Ben. I stand by. That was totally the wrong way to play this game.
Yeah, maybe, but it was good for the spectators.
Yeah, good for the spectators. I hear you. Ooh. Gorovitz has a chance against Li Chiao. That's pretty exciting.
It's good to have a chance.
That's pretty exciting. We got Juwen Jun here getting started against Luke Harman Vlade. Nothing there to raise my pulse just yet. So yeah. Let's see what's happening here. Smirnov's thinking. So this match hasn't ended yet. Somehow it's still going on. Kira's king is opened up.
I mean, this match could finish with a close score, but Australia's going to win.
Mm-hmm.
Man, everybody's queening in Joshua's game. Everybody's queening and nobody's queening.
Right. So rook takes h2. Then d2.
Rook takes h2, then d2. And then I win?
Maybe.
I think so.
Nobody knows.
Oh, no. Then I queen with check and take and we agree. No, then I play rook d8 check. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-oh. Ooh, that might happen. I must be missing something. What am I missing?
Well, he could always queen here and then play rook d2, rook d8.
No, then rook d8. That's the problem.
You go rook h1, rook there, then queen, similar stuff.
Well, that loses.
That's got to lose, yeah.
Yeah.
What?
Well, that's just losing. He takes the queen, yeah.
He could have queened with check, too. I mean, all right.
Well, now he's, so, okay.
That is it several times over, huh?
Yep. And
all right.
Keaton's game is
Smirnov has won by
draw.
resignation.
Yeah.
And
Smirnov won? Yeah.
Yeah, they're closing it out by racking up the points.
You appreciate that technique.
Yeah. All right,
okay.
Well done.
And then
San Diego.
Draw. So it's going to be a big score. It's a big score for Australia.
San Diego, you were an incredible team.
Yeah.
But the biggest surprise of the Pacific Division continues surprising. The Kangaroos are into the championship match for the Pacific next week against either the Pandas or the Destiny. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's big. I mean, the algorithm, the stats and the math said they were going to win, according to whatever math Greg did, but I thought it was the other way around.
Greg can do math? Wow. All right, I'm looking at the other games. Let's see what's happening.
All right, so we've got an exciting game between Conrad Holt and Yu Yang Yi, but we also have some serious attempts on Li Chao's life being made by Gorovets. I mean, he's got a rook in on f6. He had been up a pawn until a minute ago. It looks like Li Chao has escaped some of the worst of what happened here. Hang on. How did this happen? Okay.
Li Chao only up 4.5 minutes. Something must have gone wrong.
So it was Gorovets who had to get his pawn back on e4.
Mm-hmm.
Now this bishop maneuver to f4 doesn't seem so conclusive. I see how Li Chao gets his pieces
up
in.
1 point, and Chengdu also has the tiebreakers, right, David?
Right. It feels like Li Chao was almost like begging for a draw with these like queen moves.
So Dallas needs 3-1. They need 3-1.
So actually they need quite a big score here.
Yeah, they need to win 3-1. It seems really unlikely looking at the positions they'll win 3-1, but I guess when everybody has a minute left, we'll see.
Yeah, that's when it'll all come out. All right, so looking at the Holt versus Yu Yang Yi game.
So black sacrificed a pawn. His bishop on b7 is pretty awesome. He's destroying white's center. White's up a pawn.
Yeah.
The person doing the best for Chengdu this round is their board 4. Has a better position, and she has a huge time advantage, and her opponent's 400 points higher rated. So that's...
Yeah.
And the matchup of board 4 is, I'm sure Dallas on paper like this matchup. But
yeah. This is the point they're supposed to get for sure with this.
So far, so good. That's a huge time advantage and a nice position. White has the A file. White has the better knight. White has more space. It's just white's better.
Yeah, lots of things to be happy about. Even some weak dark squares around black's king, right? Where like queen h6 could be awkward
Knight
sometimes.
takes a7. Wow.
What did Holt do? He grabbed another pawn.
Wow, then knight takes e5. I need an adult.
All right, let's see it. Bishop b7, knight takes a7. He grabs that. Bishop f3, sure, expected. Queen f3, knight e5. All right.
And now the A pawn and the B pawn are hanging.
Pawn takes e5, queen a7.
Yep, everything's hanging on the queen side.
But it feels like Yu Yang Yi is only playing for a draw here. It looks like he's just trying to...
Because if they draw, they win the match. They got to draw their games. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess that's a practical way to look at it for the Chinese.
Li Chao's winning all of his games. And, Zhu Wenjun looks like an unlosable position.
Does she? That would be good for them.
I mean, it looks good for Chengdu on all 4 boards to me. I don't see them losing any of these games.
I mean, basically, they've got the higher ratings. They've got the higher ratings on boards 1, 2, and 3. So actually, this 4th round is kind of like the worst round for Dallas when their only advantage is this board 4.
And he just played F6. Never play F6.
Yeah.
I don't like F6. No, but yeah, this looks.
I see what you mean about
on all 4 boards. Like they can't lose any of the boards.
Right.
So and Dallas has to win 2 of them.
Yeah. And Chu has one of these like draw kind of positions here. We'll check in on it later, but you know, if it ends up being a draw, nobody will be surprised by that result. So let's stick it out with this opposite colored bishop attack against Li Chiao. You know, here we can find out whether or not Li Chiao gets to 4-0 today, or we could find out if the great falls, which seems like the least likely. But anyway, let's see. So queen g3, rook f8 was played. So is he inviting rook takes g6? And just an instant draw available for Gorovets? Then he could say that he drew Li Chiao?
Yeah,
his teammates will be like, man,
I think he wants to say we won the match.
We needed to win the match. And he'll be like, hey, I drew Li Chiao. None of you drew Li Chiao. So none of you can say anything to me.
No, you don't care about that. I know Gorovets.
Yeah?
Gorovets has beaten some really strong grandmasters.
So he doesn't care about a draw with Li Chiao?
No.
No?
No, he cares about winning the match.
All right.
Yeah. Only our viewers care about that.
Okay. I would want to draw against Li Chiao.
I mean, I would want to draw against Li Chiao, but I wouldn't achieve it. But it would be nice. According to my computer, which may be wrong, Li Chiao is offline.
Yeah.
What? His connection's not good.
No, it's not good.
If he's not here.
It's not good, yeah.
Okay, rook e1, no draw. Rawr.
No draw. Rook d1 seems like pretty playable for black.
Man, that might be Dallas's best hope, a disconnection. Man.
Yeah, certainly if they want to actually like beat Li Chiao.
Li Chiao loses by disconnecting. Yeah. I mean, my thing says he's not online, so he's only up 3 minutes. That indicates he must be offline. Okay, now he's back. Otherwise, he'd be up 5 minutes.
That's right. He's reconnected.
Now it says he's back and has some lag. All right.
It's like that thing where somebody like woke up Fischer while he was playing him, right? And then Fischer woke up and beat him. It's like Li Chiao reconnected and won.
That was at the 1963 Western Open, and that was his game against Arthur Bisgeier.
Yeah.
And the reason Fischer was asleep was he played blitz chess all night, and he won a lot of money, and he didn't sleep. So he had a good excuse. That's the tournament my dad played Fischer. So it was a long time ago.
Wow.
Very long time ago. Wow. Let's see. Can I count that high? 55 years ago.
I was about to ask you, Li Chiao's time was ticking down. Did that mean that he was disconnected again? But no, he's made a move.
Yeah. Rook d1 quickly.
Take.
Once he was online.
Blah, 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 blah. I mean, if Li Chiao wants to draw, I don't think he's going to have any trouble drawing.
No, I mean, he's offline again. That's why he's not playing queen takes d1. He's offline.
Must be. Oh, my goodness.
And now he's back. Yeah.
That's
it looks like it'll be a draw, but yeah, if he keeps getting kicked offline, that's not good.
Yeah.
These things happen.
Wow.
Harman Vlade's game with Zhu Wenjun looks really
Are
drawn.
the other pandas suffering from bad connections, or are they all okay?
No. They're all great connections.
They're all great. Yu Yang Yi, solid 4 bars here.
Yep.
And, you know, he got his pawn back on A2. I mean, we figured that he would with 2 pawns hanging. He'd get his pawn back.
Man, Zhu Wenjun played really safe with white. Very safe.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Still looking safe now. And F3, huh? I guess just making some space in the center.
Wait, who played F3? I can't find F3. Oh, F3. They already traded. Okay.
Zhu Wenjun just
I was like, there's no point on F3. Yeah, but this is just Well, I mean, she's just playing for a draw this game, and she's.
It looks like Li Chiao is just playing for a draw, just chasing down that draw.
I agree. Yeah. But yeah, if he keeps getting kicked offline, that's not good.
Yeah.
So after queen f5, it's going to be rook f6, or is there a move that I'm missing? And then they trade everything and agree to a draw. Somebody offers a draw.
Somebody offered to draw somewhere. I heard a little ding.
Chess Trails declines a draw.
Yeah.
I assume Gorovets declined the draw. I don't know who Chess Trails is.
That's Gorovets.
Yeah, because he has to win, but tough position, have to win.
As long as Li Chao's connected to the internet, he can't lose this.
It should be okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Li Xiaoyang is still, she's looking good. Position's okay. The time is great. They're trading pieces. It's getting simplified.
What's happening to Li Chao's A-pawn here? Is getting an unwanted visitor?
These things happen to the best of us.
Do they?
Everybody's attacking everybody's A-pawn.
But whoever gets there first has.
Well, if you take my A-pawn and I play queen d6 check, what do you do about that? It doesn't seem like your king can hide anywhere. Okay, so he played b3. That makes sense. And save his own pawn.
b3.
No, white has a little advantage here. Yeah.
Yeah. That's amazing. It's like playing
all the games look relatively balanced, except I think like Gorovets is pressing.
Yeah, it's like playing for a draw somehow made Lee's play worse or something.
Yeah. Well, getting disconnected like 3 times during the game is very disconcerting.
It hurt his speed strategy quite a bit.
Yeah. He doesn't want to get disconnected. That's not how he plays.
So if we look at how Li Xiaoyang is playing, you still like his position?
Her position?
His position.
What? Who?
Li
Wait, now you're confusing me.
And
I thought
Titus Stramavicius.
It looks equal.
Yeah.
And it looks like white has a lot more time.
White could take the D pawn at will, but holds off for the moment.
Yep, it's not going anywhere. 6 minutes to 1. It's hard to believe the person with 1 minute's going to win when I don't like their position.
Yeah.
So, irrespective of the rating.
Oh, man. Time to come through, Xiaoyang. Give the Pandas the win on board 4.
That would be surprising that the Pandas board 4 is beating Dallas board 4. That was Dallas's main hope. Man, Yu Yangyi's opened up Holt's King pretty good. Wow, Holt's King is pretty open.
Oh, my goodness.
That's
Why did that F-pawn come forward?
I don't know. That's an open king and a rook on the 7th.
He didn't want to give up the E-pawn.
That's
didn't want
dangerous.
to give up the E-pawn. Maybe better to give up the E-pawn. It depends. At least this bishop can't get out just yet on F8. That's what Holt's got holding his position together. Bishop can't get out just yet. If you imagine that bishop on D4, for example, different story.
That's right. Yeah, it's not looking good for Holt. Black has the D file. White's king is exposed. Black's king is safe. And the time advantage also. No, the only person who's doing really good for Dallas is Li Chao. Is Gorovets.
Gorovets.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
I said the guy for the other team. That wasn't good. And then Lee is up 5 minutes to 30 seconds.
Man, continuing to tick down, huh?
What was the final score of the other match? It was 10.5, 5.5 for the Kangaroos. Wow. Didn't see that coming.
And he plays D6. So he's tactically sharp too today. So that's nice. Rook E5. Time to take on D4. Yeah, finally. Takes care of that. Nice move. King G7, I approve. Defending F6 and H6, that's useful stuff. What is happening here with Harman Faladi? The game that was supposed to be the most boring has something weird going on.
They're not just trading down to a draw.
Rook over to G5, H3, H5. So Luke
Luke
attacks
knows
on
he
this
has
side.
to win, but it looks
King
hard to
F3,
win.
F5. All right, so he's put some pressure on this pawn on G4. What does this amount to? Maybe it's time to take on F5 this way. And then, yeah. Taking on F5 seems like the right solution for Ju to keep it keep it clear. Keep it simple.
Yeah, I think Chengdu's gonna win this round. Wait, who's offering a draw? I hear some draw being
Something's
clicked.
clicking. Somebody's taking something.
Draw agreed. Li Chiao drew. That was their worst.
Wow.
Yeah, he got his queen and bishop in very nice position.
So how did he do that? Because it was looking uncomfortable. He swings his queen all the way to A8.
He played this really nice bishop D7.
Defends the king with the bishop instead on F7. Centralized the queen.
Wow, disconnected the whole game, and he still has a monster time advantage.
Bishop D7, right. If queen takes
that's
bishop,
a nice move
queen
to hold the
F4.
balance. Yep.
Sweet. And then just threatens the checkmate and nothing you can do but repeat. All right, he dug his way out of a tricky situation there. That was pretty good for somebody who wasn't connected to the internet in an online league. And
Conrad Holt's fighting for a draw with a worse position and less time.
Right.
And he's probably happy with a draw, so he's going to try to figure out how to win. But
yeah. Yu Yang Yi seems like he's trying a little bit. Seems like he's trying a little bit to win, whereas like Li Chiao was just like, I've done my work.
Right. Yeah, he was fine with drawing with black.
Just make a draw.
Yeah, and then board 4
super practical.
for Dallas has 17 seconds left. And not a good position. Pass pawn on D6.
Yeah.
It's hard to see where Dallas is going to win any games. They have to win 2 of them.
Ju did what we expected, trading on F5. In this case, rook G3 and rook to H3 to imbalance it would be really dangerous because the bishop takes G7 and the F pawn is strong and black's down a pawn. So just rook F5, king E4, rook back to G5. And now the target for Luke is the H3 pawn, but I don't know. White's pretty well centralized, pretty active. It's hard to see how to really push this thing.
Well, okay, you can always win when both sides have a minute. So that's, I think, Luke's best chance, is hoping for a blunder and time trouble.
Right.
Get an equal position, hope your opponent makes a big mistake.
Yeah.
So far, Holt's defending.
Holt's still hanging
and Titus, board 4 is in trouble for Dallas.
Right, so he's got 16 seconds.
Man.
Lee's got the queen into A7. It can come to C7 as well if it wants to at some point. The F6 pawn is being babysat. And Sam Sevion of the Surfers says that Chengdu are big favorites to win it all now. And I agree, because the only team that I thought was really going to give them the most trouble was the San Diego Surfers, who are out now. So I guess it's Chengdu all the way now for me.
The truth hurts.
The other team I thought was really good was Webster, and they also lost today. So
12 seconds. King G7. Oh, man. Can't wait to draw. Basically sewing the matchup. Yep. Lee doesn't mind a draw.
Very practical.
Yeah. And Black's like, well, I'm going to lose if I don't draw. So
if he plays queen A7, he can already claim the draw. That's threefold repetition.
Yep. And the draw was claimed.
And he did it. All right. Yep. Nicely done. I mean, this match is super close. You know, they're sewing it up one draw at a time.
Dallas needs to win both games. They need to win both games.
Right.
And they're not winning either game.
No. But I mean,
they need to win them both.
The Pandas are only going to win by one game, right? I mean, this is so close. But I guess they also had draw odds.
Right. Yep. And Luke knows that he has to win, but he has 30 seconds less, and he's probably worse now. But it's a draw because his king is worse. This should be a draw.
People are asking me questions like, but isn't Marseille a really strong team? Isn't St. Louis a strong team?
Yep.
Doesn't Australia have a chance against them next week? Yes, all true. My predictions aren't necessarily correct. They're just like random things that come out of my mouth. You know, I got almost every prediction wrong today. And I'm predicting Chengdu is the strongest
we thought
team
Chengdu would win the match, right?
Yeah, it's the only one I got right today, basically.
Yeah. No, I'm shocked. I'm not shocked that San Diego lost. I'm surprised they lost. I'm shocked they got crushed. They lost by like 5 points.
Yeah.
10.5, 5.5.
Yeah, it was pretty brutal.
I mean, Holt's game is just a draw, but I think they're going to draw. Holt's not going to lose this position.
No, he won't.
Good defense by Holt. Yeah. It looks like it might be all draws. Because loose skin looks like a draw.
Definitely plausible.
Whoa.
What?
H5?
For who?
Wow, what a blunder. Wow, Rook takes B2.
Oh my goodness.
I'm confused. After H4?
Yeah.
Rook B5 check won, and he didn't play.
Luke did it.
No, but a move before that, White blunder with H4.
Yeah.
And Black could have played Rook B5 check and won, and he played King F7.
Oh, so he had this chance for a couple moves.
Right, and then she allowed it again. Wow. What a blunder. Amazing.
So now the match is completely tied up.
That's right. That's right.
Yu Yang is really really risking it a little bit here. He's got 10 seconds. If he gets disconnected.
This is that's predicted. Okay, I was confused. What? Yeah. Wow, that's crazy.
If he gets disconnected now.
When Yu Yang has 6 seconds left, so
it looks like he's still trying to win instead of taking a draw. I cannot believe this. I mean, Queen H5 check.
Yeah.
Last move, but instead.
Yeah, I think he's going to win too.
You think he's going to win somehow?
Yes. Oh yeah.
Well, he got a pawn.
Yeah, I think he's going to win.
Man. But the thing is, he's risking a mouse slipper disconnect. So
that's correct.
This is rather aggressive.
Yep.
He won't take the queen trade. He's like, no, I'm too good for you. I'm Yu Yang Yi. Yep. You think I need this draw? Think I'm worried about the match?
Wow.
Man, was there ever such a fighter? Either that or he doesn't know that they advance on a draw.
That's possible. Yeah, it's possible he doesn't know. Wow, what a blunder she made, Zhu Wenjun.
But the rest of his team seemed to know. They were all like, we just need draws. We just need draws. But Yu Yang Yi, I mean, those who have been following the Pro League all season will know that this guy has logged the most games. Oop, there goes another pawn, huh?
Yep.
He's logged the most moves of like anybody, right? I mean, he lives for 100-move games.
It's just a perpetual, though, if he takes Queen C7 check as a perp.
This thing's only 76 moves in. He's like, cannot stop here. Cannot stop.
Wow, he's really playing for the win. That's funny. He's not going to do it, though.
No.
It's going to be a draw.
Yeah. Bishop G7. He avoided it. He's
just got. He will win. All right. I don't know. He avoided the perpetual somehow.
His goal is to get to move 100, not necessarily to win. If he gets to move 100, then he wins in a certain sense.
Maybe he will win. I don't know. Yeah, mouse slip or a disconnection, and Dallas moves on.
So yeah, it's risky. It's risky.
Wow, I can't believe that blunder. She made the 2 blunders in a row.
That was quite the blunder.
Wow.
Ooh.
Yeah, Black's going to win now.
Good fingers, Conrad.
Now I guarantee Black's going to win. Guaranteed.
How can you guarantee
it? Even if he repeats, he'll win. Yep. Always repeat.
He is
these attacks usually win.
He is creeping pretty close.
Yeah, these attacks are usually pretty good. Queen C1. Yep. Yeah, it's hard to defend everything.
Doesn't seem that hard. I still don't even see what Black's threatening, but okay.
But it's funny how he has 23 seconds all of a sudden. Yeah.
He made some fast moves there. He sure did.
He's fast, yeah. Not as fast as Li Chiao, but he's trying. He repeats a lot, too. I like that.
Li Chiao pre-DC.
Chess Panda declined to draw.
Yeah, no kidding.
Wow, what a blunder from Zhu Wenjun. But it ends up not mattering, I guess, in the end.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Didn't Yu Yang Yi win like 1,000-move game a few weeks ago?
Yeah, he did. Every week he did. He won one of them.
Yeah.
So is he finally going to bum rush with his king at some point?
No, Holt's defending well.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, Yu Yang wants to win the match. He doesn't want to tie the match and win on tie breaks.
Nope.
He wants to win the match.
He's like, we are pandas.
Yeah, you got to win the match.
We don't need tiebreakers.
That's right.
To prove our superiority.
Is this going to be the longest game in Pro Chess League history in number of moves?
No, he's played more than this on previous weeks.
No, but it could go a lot longer.
Yeah, it could.
This could go 200 moves. It could.
Yeah. Man, I'm impressed. My hat's off to you, Yu Yang. You really want to win, man. You really.
Your hat's off to you.
Really want to win.
Yeah. He's trying hard. He's creeping. 117 moves.
Yeah. He's over 100, so everything from here on is just gravy,
or a disconnection
as they say.
loses. Wow.
You know, everything after this is
Amazing.
just gravy.
What move were we? 121. Wow.
Tick, tick, tick. Oh, man. I wish that I could feel like Yu Yang feels, just invincible, and like the more moves you rack up, the more fun it is, not worrying that maybe you might blunder on one of those moves. Just like totally happy and serene.
Wow, King E4.
Yeah. Odd square, but I guess nothing
Yeah,
wrong
this is
with
getting
it.
close to a win. It's getting close. The G pawn might fall.
It's not getting anywhere.
No, he's getting close to a win. Queen C2, I was scared, but he escaped.
Yeah.
Man, that king is
Awkward.
getting
Queen D3.
that king is awkward. Yeah,
It's all right.
he always can escape. Wow.
Yep, he can always get away.
What move are we on?
134.
134.
Feels good, huh? What do you guys think? Who's a fan of Yu Yang here in the chat, huh?
I still think he's going to win. Draw by 50 move rule.
50 move
wow.
rule, yeah.
I didn't even think of that.
What
I
do
didn't
you
even think about the 50 move rule. That's funny.
really? That was the only way the game was ever going to end.
Wow, 137 moves.
Yeah.
That was like a short game for him.
Yeah.
8-8.
8-8.
Wow.
That's a squeaker.
With
squeaker.
with Zhu Wenjun losing that dead drawn position by hanging Rook B5 check twice. Wow.
Yeah.
And it doesn't hurt them though.
Props to Dallas. They had
So
a good
David, is there
performance
like
here.
draws in the finals, or is it like some like in the Pacific?
I think
Where's Greg
I don't know.
Shahadi? Yeah,
Greg, help us out. Draws in the finals.
Only Greg knows.
I thought that there would be for the divisional championship still.
Who gets the draws? I guess it's Chengdu, right? Because they finished better in the regular season.
Yeah, if we want to get a post-match interview with Yu Yang, we should promise him that he can move his queen in circles the whole time we interview him. Like, we promise you an extra 50 moves. You can start all over that 50 move roll with us.
Wow. So Australia wins 10.5, 5.5, and we were still wrong. We both thought Chengdu would win the match, but they didn't really win the match. They tied the match.
Right. But Greg confirms that there is draw odds in the divisional championship rounds.
Uh-huh.
The goal of the draw odds is basically to force teams during the regular season to strive for like every extra spot they can get in the standings, right?
That's right.
So,
wow.
Yeah. Yeah, and then for the final four, I don't think there will be draw odds. There will be who knows what, Armageddons or something. Oh, that's Daniel Wrench talking. So yeah,
in the finals,
it'll be Armageddons in the finals.
Well, wait, didn't we beat Montreal in the semifinals and we just kept playing last year?
Yeah.
Yeah, in fact, ChessBase just pointing that out.
Because at that point, you were playing someone outside of your division, so your sort of tiebreak standings and whatever don't apply once you play outside of your division.
Obviously,
but
yeah.
But as long as you're in the division.
So one match was real close and one wasn't, but I picked the wrong ones, man.
Yeah.
Wow, that was epic blunder, but it didn't matter. And then held that draw with the 50 move rule.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's the only way you get a draw against Yu Yang, man.
Yeah.
You got to be ready to log an extra 50 moves.
It has to go a million moves. That's right.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess there's a big debate raging now about whether or not it's fair for the teams that did better in the regular season to get draw odds.
Well, they should get some advantage. That seems reasonable.
Yeah, I mean, I want to say like, well, you know, we can all have our opinions, but no, it's pretty clear. There should be some reward for doing that. It's fair because the other teams
got odds, and look what happened to them.
The other teams had their chance to get the better tie breaks and finish higher in the regular season, and they didn't. Yeah. So you know, that was what they played for. Before.
Also, nobody hung mate and one today. What happened today? Where's all the mate and ones? Or is it mates and one?
We had a dearth of mate and ones today. I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
when's the next match, David? Is it Tuesday again, or does anybody know? Match? Does Danny know? Does Greg know?
Oh, for the next round of the playoffs?
Yeah. Yeah. Is it Tuesday or Wednesday this time?
I think it's Wednesday. I know this, Ben.
You know it's Wednesday?
I know this thing. Yeah, I knew something.
Oh, man, I can't wait for Danny or Greg to say you're wrong. I can't wait.
They're not going to say I'm wrong.
Oh, man,
I'm definitely right.
I can't wait.
I'm definitely right.
Man.
You're going to be waiting a long time, man.
Yeah,
You're going to be waiting a long time if you want them to say I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Danny says he's shocked about the Aussie team winning. All he needed to know was that I picked the
Greg says you were right.
Yeah,
Greg
of course,
said
man.
Next Wednesday. Yeah. A friend of mine many years ago was giving a talk. He was a math PhD candidate.
Right.
And in front of like everybody, like people visiting from other universities. And I said, what if you're wrong? And he said, no, I can't be wrong.
Yeah.
And then halfway through his talk, a professor stood up and said, I think you're wrong.
Ouch.
And he got so mad at the guy.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't wrong. But I thought that was funny that I said, what if you're wrong? He says, I can't be wrong.
Right.
And then the guy said, I think you're wrong. And he was like, what? Am I getting punked? So next Wednesday. All right.
Yeah. So here you go, everybody. This is the final. No, sorry, not the final. Obviously, there will be more rounds. But this is the final standings for today. The final, eliminations of the playoff brackets. You can see here what the division championship matches will be next week between the Armenia Eagles and the Mumbai Movers, the Ljubljana Turtles and the Marseille Migraines, the Minnesota Blizzard and the Archbishops, St. Louis, and the Australian Kangaroos and the Chengdu Pandas. We got a lot of teams left. We got Turtles and Pandas and Kangaroos and stuff. That's nice. And Eagles.
Yeah, the Turtles and the Kangaroos going through.
We got 4 animals left out of 8. So if you could just bet on animals, you'd be in good shape at this point.
That's right. Yeah.
That would be nice. A nice bet to be able to make, but I'm sure Greg won't make it that easy for us. So yeah, I mean that's all the excitement we got for today. Hopefully
we'll be here next week. Who knows what the lineups will be for the commentators? There's fewer matches, so who knows?
Fewer matches, yeah, but hopefully we'll still be around to see the finals with all of you guys.
Yeah, that'll be great.
Anybody who picked Australia to win it, obviously you're from Australia, so I don't give you any props for your prediction. You just pick the home team like sports fans always do. And yeah, I hope everybody enjoyed our show, and we'll see you next time, hopefully.
Next Wednesday, guys. See you next time.